is pretty done with this snow stuff, and every location they've been on during this road trip, Boston, New York, and now here in Chicago, they have seen snow at every stop.
Well, they have to be pretty happy with the fact that, number one, this road trip has seen them go to Boston and see them go to New York. Two powerhouse teams in the East. Obviously, they're going to have to play them 18 or 19 times each. So it's not exactly like they're getting great conditions here in Chicago. However, these lineups and pitching staffs don't look anything like those Eastern bombers that they've been facing.
Yeah, even with the trouble that Giancarlo Stanton is having with New York, it's still a very fearsome lineup. Sox getting ready mentally, physically in the dugout. Reynaldo Lopez, who threw a gem yesterday, 7 innings, just 2 hits. He was outstanding. Sent out 13 innings in his 2 starts, 4 hits allowed for the young man who came over in the trade for Adam Eaton just a couple of years ago. Lopez had the electric stuff going again, as Chris Archer will be the opposition that the Sox will take the swing at. It was Mike Fiers yesterday, who was crafty veteran yesterday.
Well, he used the high fastball very well, and this year at least, what's happening is umpires are calling the high fastball more. So hitters should be apprised of the fact that from the waist up, which used to be a ball in the not too recent past, is now a strike, and they can't just take that pitch and expect that the umpire is going to give them the ball call.
There will be baseball today as Miguel Gonzalez leads out the Sox. And here's the Rays starting lineup for 4th-year skipper Kevin Cash, the former Major League catcher. Denard Span up top, the well-traveled outfielder. Then Wendell and Gomez, C.J. Cron over at first. Matt Duffy at third. Wilson Ramos catches. Daniel Robertson, who's been a Swiss Army knife for them at shortstop. Malik Smith, speedster in right field. And Rob Refsnyder is the DH batting 9th.
Let's take a look at the defense, and now Ricky's going to throw them out there today. It's Nicky, Lurie, and Avisail in the outfield with Yomer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and Miguel Gonzalez on the hill, looking to throw the ball a little bit better than he did last time out, where he faced a very stout Toronto team in Toronto. Let's take a look at the umpires today. And we'll go around the diamond with Stu Sherwater behind the plate, Gary Cedarstrom at first, Eric Cooper at second, and Corey Blazer is at third. So on a very chilly day, with the snow gone away for the moment, we're ready to play baseball. The Sox want to get this in to stop from playing a doubleheader on getaway day on Wednesday. And so it was already moved from a night game to a day game. Now the day game is ready to proceed. And the Tampa Bay Rays, losers of 8 in a row, taking the field, hoping that the Sox will not play like they played in the early going, but during the Detroit series. So we'll see. And Denard Span to lead it off, and Jason, take it away.
Thank you, Steve. 8 in a row in the loss column for Tampa Bay. Now 1-8. Sox are 3-5. A game and a half back of Minnesota, which is 4-3 to start the day. And there is strike number 1 from Miguel Gonzalez to Denard Span, just about 20 minutes late today, although significantly earlier than the game was originally scheduled for at 7:10. Moved up due to the cold, which is exactly 35 degrees at first pitch this afternoon.
You can imagine what it's going to be like at 7, because supposedly the snow is going to reemerge in the late afternoon, early evening. And so the fans who did show up, congratulations. Nice to see you.
Some fans had baseball in their hearts today, as Gonzalez misses away. 2-1 on Denard Span, now 34 years old, the former Twins center fielder, and left today for the Rays.
Span really has been their best player by everyone who's associated with this ball club.
Foul ground, third base side, out of play, 2-2. 6 hits, 23 at bats. He's driven in 7 so far this year for Tampa Bay, which has been power challenged. Just 4 home runs in the first 9 games this year for the Rays. They offloaded Logan Morrison during the offseason, among other moves. That was one that was met with some confusion by their fan base, considering the first half especially that he had last year.
Well, look, you have to realize that this is a reconstructed ball club, and it's going to take time before they become competitive. And when you take a look at the division they reside in, They'll be pretty tough because Toronto is still good, and obviously we know the Red Sox and the Yankees have unlimited budgets, and the Rays do not, as you look at Kevin Cash.
High in the sky for Span. On the middle infield, Tim Anderson backpedaling for route number 1. Let's take a look at what Miguel Gonzalez did in terms of slugging percentage against. This is from brooksbaseball.net. Thank you for that info. His slider got hit pretty hard in his first outing. 2,000 slugging against. The fastball 333, the sinker 750. One down for Joey Wendell, the second baseman for Tampa. Former Oakland Athletic, 27-year-old second baseman out of Wilmington, Delaware.
He's a pretty solid player, but probably when the team becomes a contender, unless things pick up, he's one of those guys that will be very good for you off the bench. Now he's getting a chance to start, and you're going to like his overall play. He doesn't give you a whole lot of pop, but he will make contact, and he's a handy man to have around. But in the situation that the Rays are in, he becomes a starter.
1-1. Left side and twisting foul, 1-2.
Couple of shots with Oakland, and Wendell hit 260 in just 96 at bats. That was in 2016, last year. Briefly at Oakland, just 13 at bats. So he hasn't had a whole lot of action. When he does, it's usually at second base.
One of 3 left-handers in the lineup today for Kevin Cash. And Wendell yanks this ball to right field. Very well hit toward the corner and foul. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. Wonderful work today by Roger Bossard and crew, because this was a winter wonderland just a couple of hours ago, and the field has shown really no wear and tear for the most part.
When you take a look at the mound, you realize how much drying compound is around that mound because it's so much lighter than the infield. Also around home plate, these guys are still getting really good traction, very good footing. So it's at this point, it's not going to affect anybody. Roger and his crew did wonders, and if you saw him out here early and you see what it looked like and see what it looks like now, it's close to miraculous.
9:15 in the morning.
Very nice, huh?
Wow.
Bring your skis.
I mean, what work by Roger and crew. And as we told you just in our open, he tried a new technique today. Created his own snowplow.
We have to believe if he's going to take a plow onto the grass of the outfield, he's going to make sure that there's no permanent damage done. Otherwise, if Roger didn't think it would work, he certainly wouldn't have done it. Because outside of his family, this field comes next.
And it's actually pretty close, yeah. I think, in terms of who's in first place.
It's 1 and 1A.
2-2. Ripped foul. Yeah, you just turn your lawnmower into a snowplow. That's all you have to do, right? You can try it at home.
Seems reasonable to me. Yeah. I would, but living in a high-rise, it creates some difficulty, especially with the engine.
And for the people on the floor below you.
Well, you know, you don't care much about them, but just for overall general nuisance factor, you want to keep that one here at the ballpark.
He's the guy that you would pick to lead your army, I think. General nuisance. 2-2 is fouled off by Wendell. A long at bat for Wendell. That was pitch number 8.
Actually, in the minor leagues at times, like, he's not a powerful guy, but at times he'd hit 16 home runs in the low minors. He then hit 12 and 10 home runs at various minor league stops. Hasn't had an opportunity to show that kind of power in the major leagues yet, but he has 2 major league home runs.
First one came against Yu Darvish. Breaking ball, hard hit. Sanchez is there to stand in front. And out number 2, Yolmer to Jose for the second out.
All of you remember Carlos Gomez mostly for his antics, but don't realize how good a player he was as a young player. There was nothing he couldn't do. He loves to push bunt up the right side. He does it well. You wouldn't expect to see him do it here, but if he wants to get on base, that's probably a pretty good move, because with Jose off the bag at first, he's going to be able to beat Miguel to the bag. He does have very good speed, although a little bit heavier than he was in the early days.
32 years old, one of 3 guys 30 and older in this lineup for Tampa Bay, and mostly youth, as we typically see from the Rays. Fastball hit in the air and foul. 0-2. All 3 games in this series, 1:10 start time, Sox and Rays. As Gomez gets cleaned off the plate, 1-2.
Many times what you see pitchers do, because the hitter's expecting a slider hook away, you go right back in with a fastball inside. Like that. Because the pitching pattern is usually, look, I'm going to push you back off the plate, I'm going to wipe you out with a curve, a changeup, or a slider away. And he gets completely tied up. Down he goes in the batter's box, which is something he does fairly often. Very animated player.
As he does a little hopscotch there.
Fouling it off your foot on any day is not good. Today, well, you don't have to put ice on it. Let's leave it at that.
Very true.
Yeah. Trainer comes out. You want some ice on that? No, just chip it off my foot.
1-2. That is just off the plate outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. .21 pitches so far for Miguel Gonzalez. 13 of the 21 fastballs so far. 2-2. That was a breaking ball shot to left field. Delmonico is back on it. It's off the wall. And that ball rang to him so quickly that Gomez only has a single out of it.
What a terrific play by Nicky in left field as Delmonico goes after, realizing he can't get to it. The last thing you want is to get trapped too close to the wall, because if this gets by you with the speed of Gomez, it's a triple. But he realizes where he is as his foot hits the track and then plays the carom. Turns out to be a terrific play. Probably he got a little too close to the wall, but he was able to make it. And Gomez thinking 2 all the way before he has to just check it up. Turns out to be a great play by Nicky, getting the ball in and holding him out of scoring position.
Nicky staying warm over in the left field corner. 1 on, 2 out for C.J. Cron, the former Angel, who takes ball 1.
He's out of the University of Utah and resides in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I'm told it's in the 90s.
Oof. Sounds great.
Oh, it'll be here just maybe when we get up back up off the next road trip. It'll be here.
It's actually supposed to be fairly nice in Minnesota the first couple days we're there, and then it's going to snow over the weekend.
Well, it's going to be very nice here. I mean, temperatures will get up eventually very close to 70 degrees, so it has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is the Twin Cities. As far as snow is concerned, our boys can play in snow.
We are finding that out.
Yes.
A little too much. 2-0. It's downstairs, so 3-0 on Cron. Duffy on deck.
You would think that Cron would have the green light because he is one of the guys who has a little power, although, as Jason told you, with this team very much challenged in the home run department, I would think Kevin Catch would give him the 3-0 green light.
Rays finally put up some runs yesterday, 7 of them, but a comeback in the late innings foiled a chance to break that losing streak. So now 3-1 on Cron. Kevin Kiermaier out of the lineup today. He was ill a few days ago, fouled a ball off his foot yesterday, so they're playing without their all-world defensive center fielder today.
Also playing without Brad Miller.
Just went on the DL before this game, after yesterday's game. He traded a position player for a pitcher in that swap. They called up Ryan Weber from AAA Durham. Hope he packed well. Jeez. 3-1. Throw to second is not in time. It was ball 4 anyway. So 2 on, 2 out for Duffy.
You might remember Matt Duffy from the Giants. He has hit a home run this year, which, if you take a look at his frame, you realize that he got every bit of it. Hit it .410 to straightaway center field. But he does put the bat on the ball, and at least for the moment, he's their third baseman. He plays on the left side normally, and the arm would be categorized as maybe just enough.
This is Matthew Michael Duffy. There was also a Matthew Edward Duffy who played in the major leagues as well. He was with the Astros, and fairly often when they were playing at the same time, they got each other's mail.
Well, at least they didn't get each other's checks, which is the main thing. You can live without a gas bill.
See where your mind is already today. Making bank.
Well, that's because I found one.
Congratulations.
I found one that had not been cashed since May of 2015. So
some people find quarters in their couch cushions. You find checks.
Well, it was no good, but it was nice to find it. It made me happy for a bit, only to find out that it was no good.
On the ground right side, Yohan knocks it down, keeps it on the infield, but can't recover fast enough, and Gomez scores, so the Rays have the first run of this series.
RBI number 5 as Duffy goes to the right side. Yohan does a nice job of keeping it in the infield, but unfortunately, on the carom off the glove, with the speed of Gomez, who kept this inning alive with a base hit with 2 outs, he scores from second base. This is a nice effort. It hits the heel of the glove and bounds away, and Gomez is off to the races. He's always had very good speed, and as you see, he's busting it, and that's one thing he's always done. He's always run hard, and it turns into a run.
Got good news for you. The Rays are 0-4 when they score first.
That's outstanding. Can we borrow the Yankees offense?
I don't think that trade's going to go through.
Well, I mean, Stanton makes a whole lot of money. How about Judge? Think maybe they'll move him, you know, for pitching with CC Sabathia being hurt?
Yeah, they'll think that over.
Briefly?
Yeah. And hang up on you as though you're a telemarketer. Ball and a strike on Wilson Ramos, 30-year-old catcher. A couple of seasons now with Tampa Bay for Ramos since coming over from the Nationals by way of Minnesota. .31 pitch first inning for Miguel Gonzalez today. Popped it up, first base side. Jose makes the call at the line, makes the catch, and the inning's over. But a pair of hits get the Rays on the board at 1-0. Sanchez and Anderson. Davidson off today. Garcia, Saladino, and Narvaez your starting 9.
Let's take a look at the defense and how Kevin Cash is going to throw them out there. It's Span, Gomez, and Smith. In the infield, Duffy, Robertson, Wendell, and Crone. Wilson Ramez gets a nod behind the plate. And Chris Archer on the hill. He's a hard-throwing right-hander. Average last year, 95.5 miles an hour on his fastball. Those are the true previous starts. He has not been thrown well at all, but he strikes out a whole lot of guys with a whip of 145. You're not going to win too many games. However, he's highly sought after as a trade chip. And the Rays certainly would move him. They're in full rebuild mode. The question is, how much are they asking? There's a lot of teams that covet him in their starting rotation. And Archer has got good enough stuff to warrant a whole lot of interest.
Third place in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2013 because of a 3.22 ERA. The whip that year was at about 1.1.
It's really important that he get ahead, because when he doesn't, when he pitches from behind, last year the league hit .488 against him, and that's the worst of starting pitchers in the major leagues.
He really is pretty much a two-pitch pitcher at this point. He mixed in the changeup a lot more in previous years.
Well, he does have a biting slider and throws it down and in to right-handers, to left-handers if he gets ahead.
Sox jumped on him early. The last time they saw him, it was September of last year. Archer didn't get an out. He gave up back-to-back homers to Alan Hansen and Yolmer Sanchez. And then Archer left with a forearm injury in that game. So 0 innings pitched and a couple of runs. See if we can get that to happen again. Two balls, two strikes on Yohan Moncada, who's 6 out of 34, but has been hitting the ball quite hard this early season and has run another full count.
Archer's been an all-star twice, pitched in the World Baseball Classic for the United States, pitched in the postseason against Boston back in 2013, so he's got some accomplishments,
including walking Yohan Moncada to lead off this game. Hey, Sox fans, the Chicago White Sox are offering a limited edition Cancer Ribbon White Sox cap for $29.99. $10 from every cap sold will support White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in cancer research. Caps are available in park and at the Chicago Sports Depot for a limited time. Join the team for a great cause. Certainly hope you can pop by and grab one of those caps and help out, or go to the Chicago Sports Depot. So 1 on, nobody out for Avi Garcia here in the first. And a foul ball starts him off.
Avi's done a great job thinking about more contact, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and consequently, with a .330 batting average last year and .343 coming in, you'd have to say that he's learned his lessons well.
For the can Avi duplicate last year's numbers crowd, the first week has been a little rough. Foul territory, first base side. Malik Smith gets over there and tries to slide and make the grab.
I hope he's okay, because he hit the wall hard. He did it right. He did slide. However, he had some momentum going into that padding there. Take another look. He sees exactly where he is and decides that discretion is the better part of valor. And he doesn't want to have to dive into the stands to go get it.
Darryl Boston should put his whistle to good use, and when people are getting close to that wall, you should blow the whistle. Hey, Debo. 0-2 on Avi from Archer.
I think in the sense of camaraderie and all that goes into being major league player, Darryl should sign a whistle and send it to Josh Donaldson.
I think so.
A monogrammed Darryl Boston whistle. I'm sure that Josh Donaldson would be more than happy to have that, and then he can blow it at Darryl next time he sees him.
All in good fun.
Yes, of course.
Avi checks his swing, and he did go. Strike 3, says Gary Cedarstrom over at first. 1 away. Looked like a good call.
Archer is a prolific strikeout pitcher. He did indeed go, and last few years, let's take the last 3 years. Starting in 2015, 252 strikeouts, 233 strikeouts, 249 strikeouts. In this day and age of the strikeout, that's still pretty stout numbers.
He's now 6 strikeouts behind David Price for second place all time in Rays history with that one here in the first inning. Now, Abreu certainly doesn't get a fastball first pitch. Jose last year had the best slugging percentage of guys who qualified on the Sox against the four-seam fastball. He slugged .608 against the four-seam fastball last year.
And that's mainly what Archer throws, is a four-seam fastball when he goes to the fastball, and he keeps it up, but it's got some extra life on it. You got to get him when he's behind, because that's when he'll lay one into you.
That one hits Jose, so again, on a cold day, Abreu gets plunked up and in.
Jose does a nice job of turning back into Ramos and trying to get away from this. And fortunately, it looks like it got him high on the shoulder. Boy, that's going right at his head. He was able to somehow get away from it enough to hit right off the Sox logo, but stop from getting hit in the face. That's happened to Jose a lot because people try to go in on him. When they go in, you're going to get hit. However, eventually you get tired of that, and we'll have to see how it plays out, but there was no intention there. There's no way Archer was trying to hit him.
Wonder what the major league record is for times in a row getting hit in the first inning, because Jose's at 2 right now. Now Delmonico, 2 on, 1 out. The Sox trying to cash in on an early chance, which they couldn't do yesterday against Mike Fiers. Bases loaded, 1 out. And that was the best hope for the Sox in that game. Ball 1.
Jose's been hit 3 times this year. You don't want your star player to lead the team in getting hit, but more often than not, that's what happens because guys are very careful. Guys, certainly in the case of Jose, they don't want to throw a middle away consistently because he'll kill you out there, so they try to go in and they just miss with it.
There's one backdoor way to not have your slugger lead the team in hit by pitches. You trade for Brandon Guyer.
That's true. He is a ball magnet, and year after year, 30-some times he'll get hit. This is where you want to get Archer because he's behind Nicky 2-0, and this is when last year he got torched to almost a 500 batting average. That's really up there considering league average when behind hitters is 343. So you don't want to get behind at all, but for Archer, it's been death.
2-0 last year, he threw 66% fastballs, and that's not shocking, but this is certainly a fastball count for Archer. 27% slider, and just sprinkled in a few changeups. 2-0 on Nicky, and he did go away from the fastball. 3-0.
That was a high slider, certainly not one that he would like to repeat. And with Yolmer in the on-deck circle, you're not thinking that Nicky has the 3-0 green light, but Ricky Renteria sometimes throws a surprise party.
Fastball down the chute, 3-1.
He was taken all the way. You could see by his hands that he just relaxed and waited to see the resolution of the call, and it was right there. So now most likely he's going to get that fastball. Good time to take it to left field because it's probably going to be away as you look at the defensive alignment with Robertson up the middle.
3-2, and now this is where Archer really made the massive change last year. When he got to a full count last season, he was 3/4 slider.
Well, 96 of his 119 strikeouts against left-handers were on his slider. That's over 80%. So you'd have to figure that he does it well, and let's see if he goes back there. If he's got the feeling in his fingers, he's going to go back there. But bear in mind, he is pitching in a dome in Tampa Bay.
There it is. He missed inside. Nicky gets the benefit. Archer is really hot, and the bases are loaded for the Sox with 1 out in the first.
We'll take another look at it. Stu Sherwater on the call. Archer thinks it's there. Looks like it drifted inside just a touch. Ramos actually took it a little bit further off the plate, and an ideal situation, something the Sox have not been able to cash in on, and when they've let a few of the starting pitchers off the hook early, it's come back to bite them.
First one here is just down low. Ball one to Yolmer Sanchez. Moncada at third, Abreu at second, Delmonico at first. Pitch number 20 of the inning. Sanchez lightly hit into the outfield. Malik Smith loading up. Moncada tags. Throw coming to the plate is well offline, and the Sox are on the board. 1-1 your score on the sac fly from Yolmer.
Smith, being a fairly young player, did not set up very well, and that allowed Moncada to score. Take a look at his setup. Now watch as he reaches high over his head, but it really isn't exactly what he wants to do. You just as soon be coming into your throw as you catch the ball. The throw is offline. Smith does not have a normal right fielder's arm, but that was certainly deep enough as Yolmer drives in number 8.
He's an RBI machine, that Sanchez.
That's a lot of runs batted in at this point for a guy that was hitting at or near the bottom of the order when things started out.
Now Tim Anderson checks his swing, and he did go, says the plate umpire Sherwater.
Leadoff walk in an inning turns into a run. 2 walks and a hit batsman. The Sox have a run without the benefit of a hit.
Yolmer drove in 59 runs last year. He has 8 in the first now 9 games of this season. 0-1. Breaking ball out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Where are you most likely to miss with a breaking ball on a cold day like this?
You're going to miss with a breaking ball away regardless, and more times than not you'll probably miss with it up instead of down until you get loose.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. It was in a perfect spot. It was a strike. It was on the outer portion, and if you pull off at all, if your head's not down on the ball, if you pull your left shoulder or open your hip too early, you've got no coverage middle away, and that's what happened with Tim, whose eyes recognized fastball because it was 88 miles an hour. Probably didn't pick up the slider spin quickly enough.
Nicky at first, Jose at second, 2 down. First inning, and that is a fastball low, 2-2.
The way Ramos is receiving the ball from Archer, you would think that a couple are going to get by, because right now he's backhanding a lot of pitches. He's not easing to the ball. You watch Yadi Molina as he coasts to the ball. He absorbs the baseball. He doesn't stab at too many things.
Torey Lovello's favorite catcher, Yadi Molina. There's strike 3 on Anderson, and that'll do it for the Sox in the first. 1-1, the tie after 1.
Double deals made for go-getters.
I'd like to pass along condolences to the family of Joe McConnell, former White Sox announcer who was with the team for that 1983 AL West Division champion season. He was here from 1980 to 1984. Many of you who are Sox fans know him as the voice of the Purdue Boilermakers for a long time, but a very versatile announcer. Did NBA games on the radio, the ALCS at one point. He did 3 Super Bowls, and Joe McConnell has passed away, so condolences to his family, and a really wonderful announcer that we lost. Purdue family, by the way, has chimed in during our broadcast on Twitter. Former Purdue basketball player Robbie Hummel is either watching the game or just being snarky, talking about his own changeup that he used to throw. He says if the Sox need an arm today, he's nearby and would love to be here as Nicky Delmonico goes down to the ground and makes a diving play for out number 1.
Well, it's very early in this one, and Nicky's made 2 exceptional plays. This one, much the better of the 2. We'll take another look at it as Nicky comes over on a sinking line drive, takes it right off the grass, and then holds on with the roll. Good solid play in left field by Delmonico, who stopped Gomez from going to second base on a carom off the wall, and now takes a base hit away from Robertson.
Well, Nicky got indoctrinated to left field in the big leagues very quickly by having to play the Green Monster at Fenway.
That's not all that easy.
Malik Smith with great speed lays down a foul bunt.
I remember some of the better bunters, and I talked to them about technique as far as bunting for a base hit. Even with the third baseman in, they all felt to a man that if you can put it on the grass and stay around until you make contact, you can beat the play at first base. In fact, Libertyville's Brett Butler, who was just down the road and a star in this game for a period of time, he told me that he doesn't care where that third baseman plays. If he gets his bunt down, keeps it on the grass, he's going to be able to beat it out.
Oh boy, that caught Omar flush behind the plate. Yeah, Brett Butler was such a great bat handler.
Take a look at Omar, the job of a catcher. It will wake you up if you're not up already, and we'll watch it again.
The plate umpire, Stu Sherwater, actually has a full-time job in part because of a baseball like that. Dale Scott, who retired this past season, had a couple of concussions in about a 9-month span, so that left a full-time position open, and Stu Sherwater, who's got the plate today, took that position. So congratulations to Stu.
As we know that Sherwaters run deep, Stu is having a good game behind the plate.
1-2. He's the first full-time Major League umpire from Canada since 2001 in our game.
And who was his predecessor?
It was, I just read it earlier.
Dave Thomas?
It was not.
Catherine O'Hara? John Flaherty? John Candy?
2-2, thank goodness that's over. Line drive to left by Smith. He's on with 1 out.
Time now for Toyota going places. And take a look at Ronaldo Lopez. He is indeed going places. He's only given up 4 hits all year. His stuff has been brilliant. He's gone 6 innings twice. Doesn't have a whole lot to show for it, but just good impressions by the hitters he's faced. They don't like to face him. So there you look at yesterday against the Tigers, 7 innings. Just the 2 hits with a run and no earned runs, and he has thrown it very well for a youngster trying to claim his place in the rotation, which he's already gotten. So Toyota, let's go places.
Jim McKeon was the umpire, who was the last full-time Canadian umpire.
I remember him well.
He give you some calls or what?
Wasn't Eugene Levy?
No, it wasn't. Thank you for asking, though. Here's Rev Snyder, formerly of the Yankees, and a first pitch out. He's off the bag and got in there safely.
Good play by Omar. He quickly got it down to Jose, who put the tag on, and for Smith, he's scrambling back to the bag. That secondary lead a whole lot farther than he would have liked. Jose turning around and putting the tag on. Unfortunately, the hand is on the bag before the slap in the chest. Just missed getting it. A little face burger for his efforts also.
Yeah, he did get lit up there by Jose, huh?
Not so bad. Yeah, it's good.
Came in oven mid-first.
Well, contact is the name of the game.
No, it's not.
Oh. Well, that may be football then.
Ref Snyder, who is 0 for 6 this year, but has walked 6 times. '27-year-old utility player Rob Ref Snyder.
Led room of Rob with the New York Yankees. Spent some time there.
Fouled away back of home, 1-1 to Ref Snyder. Tampa Bay at 1-8 right now, the only one-win team in the American League. Boston has already cleared out 7 games of space from last place Tampa Bay. The Red Sox 8-1 with that comeback win yesterday.
That was miraculous. They scored 5 runs with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
It was converted starter Matt Andrews who gave up a bunch of those runs for Tampa Bay. Alex Colomé has struggled some out of the bullpen, 2 for the Rays.
They haven't needed Alex a whole lot. So it could very well be, as we always say, that especially closers and setup men, they'll rust away before they wear away. And they haven't had a whole lot of use for either a setup man or a closer.
Two and 1 to Ref Snyder, and Gonzalez inching up toward 50 pitches already after a 32-pitch first inning. Well, Ref Snyder can take a walk with the best of them, as we told you.
That's Denard Span in the on-deck circle. He popped one straight up to Tim Anderson, his first at bat last inning. Barring a double play, he'll get another chance here.
3-1. Smith holds, and Ref Snyder sends it foul. Miguel, in that first start that he had, put up 4 strikeouts, 2 in his final inning. That was the 5th inning. Sox most strikeouts by a starter this year has been Ronaldo Lopez with 6, and he's the only guy with more than 5 in any one of his starts so far.
We can understand it when you throw 97, 98 consistently and have the kind of slider that he's shown this year. To go with a changeup, his changeup is just outstanding. That's always there, but the slider has been very impressive this year in the early going.
Smith's off on 3-2. Ref Snyder left side and through. Malik Smith into third as Delmonico loses the ball in left. Ref Snyder is into second base, and an extra base for the Rays, staying out of the double play chance with the bobble by Delmonico.
Well, when Nicky bobbled the ball, you got to realize with the runner going, you're not going to get him at third, and then you get the ball into second base, keep the double play in order. So it does shoot through the left side, no chance for Sanchez, and as Nicky comes and gets it, he's trying to make a throw. Well, now he's got to look at second base first, and he doesn't. He looks at third where there's going to be no play because the runner is going. He allows Ref Snyder as the trailer into second base, taking the double play out of order.
He probably didn't have Smith, even if he comes up with it cleanly at third.
It would have been close, but you always want to keep the double play in order. Don't let the trailer go to second base.
Denard Span takes ball 1.
That's what most winning managers will tell their players. Don't try to make the heroic play. Make sure that the trailer doesn't get to second base if you're trying to keep the double play in order. because a double play gets you out of the inning. Now a ground ball gets Tampa Bay a run.
Smith at third, Rev Snyder at second.
Tampa's going to do it. They're going to have to do it with their speed, and they've got some speed in this lineup, as we've seen early.
Second base, Moncada's there, and 2 down. It's about the best result you can ask for with second and third and 1 out.
Especially with Span up, who does have pretty decent speed. And hits the ball and does not produce the run.
So it's up to Wendell for Tampa Bay. Second and third, 2 out. He had a very lengthy at bat first time up and finally grounded out to third. That's in there for a strike from Gonzalez, 0-1.
I'm thinking when he tried to get inside the first time up and Wendell almost hit one out of the ballpark, but for about 10 feet foul, probably start thinking about soft stuff away. That was a backdoor cutter or slider where he shaved off the outside corner. Probably away, the slower the better.
There it was again to second base, Moncada. Beautifully done by Gonzalez, and the Rays strand 2 for the second straight inning. Two losses in the doubleheader, but Dylan Cease was pretty good. 7 strikeouts for Winston-Salem. Joel Booker 2 for 3 in game 2. And Mitch Roman with a solo homer, his first of the year, former 12th round pick. And here it is at the Carolina Mudcats. Look out to the snack shack in right field.
That park will never hold that ball. Wind was blowing straight in. That was a bomb.
Check out the wind in all the minor league cities. I know.
I do.
Terribly in depth.
Hey, Tom Skilling and I are close. We've known one another a long time. He has taught me to always check the flags.
Dylan Cease, 7 strikeouts and 4 2/3 in that first start for him. He was supposed to start the game that was rained out on Saturday in North Carolina, but ended up throwing game 1 of the doubleheaders. So 7 strikeouts, 4 2/3 for Cease.
You like to see high fastballs from Archer. You don't want to see the slider, but on high fastballs last year, well-hit average is 265 against Archer. That's the elevated fastball all year. League average 141. His at 265, the worst among all major league starters.
Yeah, that's well hit balls, not even just the average against him on those high fastballs. So you're talking about more than a quarter of the time he's getting pounded on high fastballs.
And it's really hard to square up a high fastball that's at 95 or over. But Archer has one of those. Just gets hit hard most of the time.
2-2, and that's tipped foul. Garcia just got a piece of it and discards the baseball.
That one also got a piece of Ramos as he's taking the glove off and then shaking his glove hand. Slider away. Let's see what he can do with it.
It's downstairs, and Garcia spoiled it.
Wouldn't mind seeing Archer out of there with that in mind. He's made 31 pitches with no outs here in the second.
Hefty pitch count for both guys.
Yep.
Gonzalez 51 through 2. Archer 31 through 1 plus 1 batter. 2-2. Fastball chopped to the right side. Crone for out number 1. Thanks for joining us this chilly day here in Chicagoland. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, our entire crew. Thanks for joining us for baseball on the south side. Saw some, there's one up. Saw some folks that were in Cubs gear stopping by. They wanted to see baseball today, so they figured they'd head over to the south side instead.
Well, with their game canceled and their opener tomorrow, you want to see baseball? Here it is, the only game in Chicago presently.
New definition to the only game in town. Wonder if we can get a word from Craig Counsell on what he thinks about the Cubs postponing today's game. He's had some thoughts on that previously.
I think all things considered, they probably don't care very much what Craig Counsell thinks.
It's true.
However, I'm sure they consulted with him, and then they couldn't get him on the phone.
But in all seriousness, I know there's a lot of disdain from fan base to fan base. It's nice to see bridges being built by a situation like today. Cub fans get to see some baseball. And there's a ball to third. Duffy for out number 2. Sox fans, join us as the White Sox take on the Minnesota Twins Thursday, May 3rd, 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a free Bill Melton themed t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Buy your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. 2 down for Omar.
Wind is starting to pick up somewhat, and once again, it's right toward the right field corner. That's been the prevailing wind here in the early going. It's coming right off the lake, and it is chilly and not likely to get any warmer anytime soon.
Yeah, not saying it's fun for anybody to be playing right now, but
you got to get them in, and when a team comes to your town only one time, you want to get all 3 games in and not worry about it. So the next 2 days are going to be very nice. No worries about tomorrow's game or Wednesday's game. But everybody knew this one would be tough, and yet there's no snow, so there is baseball.
Turbo slider, 2-1 on Omar with 2 out, nobody on here in the second. '29-year-old Chris Archer to the 26-year-old Narvaez.
Omar has just a great eye. As a very young player last year, he almost walked as many times as he struck out. And in this day and age of baseball, that's a miraculous accomplishment. But he won't swing at pitches out of the zone. He's worked this count to 3-1, getting a fastball away. Let's see if he can take it to left.
Like that. Denard Span is over there making a sliding grab for out number 3. Nicely played by Span. 1-2-3 inning as we're tied at 1.
999. Be the 300th texter and win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
I could go for a toasty sub right now.
I'm a meatball sub guy. Occasionally the Italian with a little extra dressing, but my go-to is meatballs. Love meatballs.
We can be friends again. That's good. It's nice.
You like meatballs also?
I do.
I thought your last name was Bennett and you changed it to Benetti.
Oh boy, Omar has gotten hit twice today.
That one got him good, and anytime you see the umpire walking out toward the pitcher and getting as far as the grass, you know that he believes the catcher is really shaken up. Watch it again. Just under the mask, hitting the shoulder. Not pleasant. Getting a piece of the knee to go with it.
And it's 35 degrees at game time. That doesn't help matters. In the air left side, Delmonico coming in toward the line, and it's Nicky's ball to make the catch. Round number 1. If anybody, though, is okay with this kind of weather, you would imagine it would be Ricky Renteria, the Sox skipper, because he was born on Christmas Day.
And where exactly was he born? I'm thinking it was pretty warm.
It was on the west.
Yeah. Probably not. Christmas Day in most of the Southern California, Arizona, whatever regions.
Harbor City, California, to be specific.
Yeah, probably not that cold on that Christmas Day.
Here's an oddity. The Sox have had 2 managers born on Christmas. Gene Lamont was also born on Christmas Day.
It's almost Kafkaesque.
Well, the Sox and Rays have metamorphosized into run-scoring teams. Today, there's Christmas-born Ricky.
Lucas Giolito and I were born on Bastille Day, which is right in the middle of July, like some 10 years apart.
Well, you have it better than Christmas Day babies because you get birthday presents and Christmas presents at the same time. You lose out on half of the deal.
It's a heartache, but you know, he's made it through.
This one hit well left center field. Garcia back to the warning track for round number 2.
Cron has big power. He's got big power to the opposite field also. We saw it with the Angels when he was there for quite some time. That time, he just crushed that ball just to the right of the wind truss sign and right by the Goose Island sign. But it stayed in the park, and a nice play by Leary.
Sox have ninjas everywhere in the outfield. Face warmers in bulk.
Not Avi.
Did you say Avi? Yeah, that's not going to get to him. Garcia. Why don't segues always work? 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd for Gonzalez.
Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com and follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side. He's a great guy and it's a great company.
Bundle up, hang out with the fam, and stay warm watching some Sox baseball today. Glad you're all here, wherever you may be. As the Sox have Yoan Moncada leading off, and he smokes this ball up the gap in right center field. Let's see those wheels go, Yo. Into second base he goes, making a turn, and then slammed on the brakes.
We're going to see this more and more often as he gets comfortable with what the pitchers are trying to do to him. And this first ball fastball is crushed. It's thigh high into the gap. Gomez can't get to it. Even if Kiermaier were playing in this game, the defensive wizard that he is, he couldn't have gotten to it. So a two-base hit and a promising way to start the third. Up twice, on twice for Yoan.
And now Avi a chance to drive him in. He started Moncada with a fastball middle away the first time, and this one was a little too more middle than he wanted it to be. On the ground, third base side, not what the Sox wanted out of that at bat. Duffy across the way, one down. .35 degrees at game time, but rest assured, it's going to be better for the remainder of the series.
Yeah, the next two games, the weather is supposed to be very nice. And look, although it's 35 degrees, at least it's a damp, biting cold. Not like it's a normal cold.
So, that holiday card business that you were going to develop.
What do you think?
Yeah, don't do it.
Okay.
Cancel production. Moncada at second, one out, and Abreu, who got hit last time, takes a strike to start.
Again, the high strike, and they're going to be calling it, so guys are going to have to go up and get it.
If you were pitching right now, that's where you'd live, right?
Exactly. That was my style because I wanted the fastball and the curve to come out of the same spot, so I was a high fastball curveball pitcher, a la Don Sutton, who made the Hall of Fame.
But especially now, I mean, what you did would play very well in today's game, you'd imagine,
and
in terms of location.
Right, pitchers have to go with their strength anyway. They're going to go, all things being equal, with their strength against the hitter until he shows them that they're better than his strength. Then and only then do you go to the hitter's weakness, because the hitter's weakness is your weakness. You're better off going to your strength.
Two strikes on Jose. Slider caught a bunch of the plate.
Well, there is no doubt if you're Nick Capper at third base and you get any shot at all, you are going to run on the arms in this outfield. Denard Span has never had a very good arm in left. We saw Smith in right. The arm is just okay, not the normal right fielder's arm, which usually the best arm in the outfield will play right field. And Gomez has a pretty decent arm, but not one that's going to throw you out from where he's playing in center field.
In the dirt and blocked down by Ramos. As you see by the colors of the pitches in our strike zone, 3 sliders, 1 fastball for Abreu so far. The blue is a fastball and the purple is slider.
We're going to take a look at Gomez and how he sets up. He sets up actually facing left center field because he realizes there's very little room between him and Smith. He's not going to have to go to his left, and if he does, that's fine. But he sets up unlike most center fielders.
Strike 3. It's up to Nicky now, 2 down, 1 on after the leadoff double for Moncada. Sox have not been the kings of timely hits during this homestand, that's for sure.
No, the one run was scored without the benefit of hit in the first inning. A couple of walks, hit batsman, sac fly, turned into a tie game.
Batted foul, 0-1 on Nicky, who walked on 6 pitches in the first. Part of that 2-walk, 1-hit batter, 1-run inning against Archer. I feel like we say it every day. If you don't get to him now, you're not going to get to him. Sox have had some first inning rallies that haven't been as fruitful as you'd like.
That's been a constant in the early going. But again, it's not exactly hitter's weather. This weather so much favors a pitcher. If you can keep your hand warm and be able to grip the baseball, you have a tremendous advantage in weather like this. And we're seeing a lot of very low scores around baseball because of the elements.
Oh-2. Slider and a sharp one at that. Nice pitch by Archer. 4th strikeout for the Sox. We're still tied at 1.
There's no place like Nome. We all know that. It feels like Nome here today, but we have some nice prizes for you if you have the intellect and the speed to win Sox Math, which will be great. We'll have to see.
This is why I'm wearing the spring training sweatshirt. It says Glendale on it, and I thought maybe some heat would radiate.
Yeah. Good plan, though.
Not working so hot. 1-1 score into the 4th we go, and Miguel Gonzalez has his first pitch grounded to 3rd, where Yomer is posted for out number 1. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off a prize shelf that we have for you here. And it's brought to you by Audi, your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. Number of hits Lopez has allowed this season, plus Avi's jersey number. That's your question. Can you beat Mike Ganella? First correct answer, hashtag SoxMath on Twitter, wins a prize off our prize shelf.
We gave you a clue earlier in telling you just as many hits he has given up, but that might be lost in the ether, so I think you can figure it out easily enough.
We also gave you another clue when Avi was at the plate.
We did?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's wearing his jersey today.
Oh, I tell you what, you're just giving away too much in the early going.
It's like a Monday New York Times puzzle. 1 ball, 1 strike on Robertson with 1 down.
You had to go there, huh? Crossword puzzles. You took advantage of me. I'd never done one before, and you humiliated me. What, 26 minutes for the Monday puzzle with lots of hints?
Look, I just assumed that you had done a lot of crosswords in your time because you are a savant analytically.
Yeah, but not crosswordian.
Sorry about it. 1-2 to Robertson, who checked his swing. Did he go? No.
Gary Cedarstrom says he will live to see another pitch. Robertson's a good hitter. Not going to hit a lot of home runs for you, but he does make contact, and he stung the ball the first time. Nicky made a great play in left field.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Robertson. Gonzalez so far 1 walk, no strikeouts. And Tampa Bay with 4 hits, all singles.
Miguel, who's always thrown well against these Rays, had a very easy inning last inning. He would like a low pitch inning this inning as he's about to deliver number 65.
3-2 is inside, ball 4. White Sox fans, join us as the Sox take on the Astros Saturday, April 21st, 6:10 p.m. First 15,000 fans get a White Sox quarter zip pullover presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Get started today at rate.com. Visit whitesox.com for tickets.
Robertson has 1 of 2 of the Rays' stolen bases. It's not been a base stealing bunch.
No.
Matt Duffy, the other one. But on the bright side, they are 2 for 2. On the dark side,
they're 2 for 2.
They're 1 out of 6 in opponents' stolen bases.
Not great.
No.
See if Tim Anderson can take advantage of that at some point this series, or assorted other Sox with speed. Didn't mean to, and there's a strike. It's going to be a tough division for Tampa Bay to deal with. The Sox are in a circumstance where, yes, the Tigers just swept the Sox, but the Tigers and Kansas City are both rebuilding at different speeds. The Sox are as well. In the AL East, you have Boston and the Yankees absolutely capital G going for it.
And Toronto is not pleasant to face because they can still bash the baseball.
And by the way, Aaron Sanchez, Marcus Stroman, Marco Estrada, that's...
How about Happ?
Yeah,
I mean, he's a really good pitcher. So you got a very talented staff. You got Osuna in the back end. We lost 2 of 3 up in Toronto, but that's a team that it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Yankees or Boston. I mean, Toronto is going to have a say, and John Gibbons, their manager, said they, to a man, believe that they can crack the top 2. They believe that's a playoff team, and if the team starts believing in that, you never know what happens. But you know, they've got to play the top boys and prove that they can beat them. And what Gibbons said was they always play well for whatever reason against the Yankees and the Red Sox.
That serves you well in the American League East. 1-2 is in the dirt, and Narvaez had it climb up his arm and clang off the wall. So Robertson to second base.
There's no real chance for Omar that time, as Miguel keeps his hand in his back pocket, and that's because there's probably a warmer back there. That's usually what pitchers do. He just steers this one. It's a changeup, and no chance at all for Omar. This one hits the high hop and back.
We're not going to see the Yankees until August 6th through the 8th. Sox don't play the Yankees until August 6th.
Boy, that's a shame.
Ball is hit really hard to right center field, and Malik Smith can fly. Robertson's going to score easily. Smith burning for third, and this is not going to be close. It's a stand-up triple for Malik Smith, and the Rays retake the lead.
If he hadn't broken it down knowing that he was going to make third easily, there's no telling how fast he would have gone home to third. He's among some of the faster guys in baseball. As he gets a low fastball, puts a charge into it, and then he's off to the races. This is our high-speed action powered by Xfinity, and take a look at Smith. He can really turn it on. He cuts the base as well. He takes a look and realizes with the play in front of him, he doesn't have to pick up his third base coach and coast into third base with a stand-up triple and his first run batted in of the year.
He's He's at third. Ref Snyder, the batter, for ball one. And if there's any reason Malik Smith, as a headliner attribute, is on this team, it is his wheels. 21 stolen bases in 45 games in AAA last year.
For Kevin Cash, you always have to worry about the bunt, especially with the speed of Smith.
Ref Snyder threw the fastball, 1-1. Rob Ref Snyder, who picked up his first hit of the year in the second inning. Been on base 7 times, though, with 6 walks. To look at where you might need to hit it for a sacrifice fly if you're Rob Ref Snyder, and that takes into account the speed of Malik Smith over at third and the arms in the outfield for the Sox as well. Green meaning you're very safe. Yellow and red as stoplights go are self-explanatory. Miguel Gonzalez going back into that pocket as you're talking about.
You have a hand warmer there, and so you got to get some feeling in the fingers, and you know, everybody does it a different way. So some of my friends told me that there's a clear pine tar that you can use actually that liquefies when it's put some heat on it, and it gets you a better grip.
Interesting.
Yeah, I personally, it's not legal, and it's nothing that I would even think about, but I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of pitchers in my day, and that's
it's
one
under
of the
that
things.
glove there.
It's a, well, it's just, yeah, it's a glove. Everything's fine. I'm legal. Yeah,
All
there's
right.
no way in the
Making
world that I
sure.
would ever do that. You can check my glove if you want to see if there's
Thank
a
you.
foreign substance.
Check and see. Well, it's just a snark.
Yeah, of course, if
in
it
here.
if it doesn't fit, we know exactly what happens. So
Give it to somebody else.
yeah.
For a large cost. That pitch is low and outside. 3-2 on Ref Snyder. 76 pitches for Miguel as Denard Span waits his turn on deck. Infield in for the Sox. That's why you bring him in. Smith coming home, and he is toast at the plate.
Good play by Tim Anderson, and Smith tried to, I guess, jump over Narvaez because he really had no chance. You're trying to hit the ball in the air. If you're a hitter, you don't want to keep it on the ground. And through the drawn-in infield, Tim right there throws a strike to Omar, who's waiting for Smith to arrive, and there's nothing he could do. So a big run cut down on the plate. Good defense by the boys. Ricky brought him in, and it turns into goal.
Very nice throw from Tim. On target, got the job done.
Smith tried to do what he could to knock the ball out, but he's a whole lot smaller than Omar and comes away with very little.
Denard Span. Yeah, you don't come after Omar.
Not when he's got the ball and can put it away. Not when you're the size of Mr. Smith.
One strike on Denard Span. In the air, right field side. Avi makes the catch for out number 3. Rays get a run. Omar takes out a hopper, and it's 2-1, bottom 4.
There it is, the next 3, 2 against these Rays, and then it's on to Minnesota for the first of 4. They should be entertaining with nice weather early in that series, and so that is your Ram upcoming schedule.
2-1 your score. Tampa Bay got a run in the top of this inning, and Chris Archer, short sleeves and all, to Yolmer Sanchez for a strike.
Yolmer drove in his 8th run of the year, a whopping total for a guy that was a bottom of the order hitter, and he's grown into a middle of the order hitter with this lineup that Ricky threw out there.
It's nice to see, and we've talked about this previously, but it's nice to see Yolmer Sanchez grow into the role that he has landed in here with the Sox.
Well, he was a jack of all trades and a swing man. You put him here, you put him there, but now he's anchored at third base and doing a whale of a job of it.
To first on the ground, and Crone wins the race for out number 1. Tim on the ground, left side and through. That's a base hit. So an ambush with 1 out here in the 4th for Tim. And Garcia will come up with a runner on.
Looked like a first ball fastball. And for Archer, he's gotten burned on first ball fastballs. Now you got to believe he's off to the races. So that one is middle in. Tim takes it through the left side. We told you about his lively bat. You really can't teach exit velocity. Either you have it or you don't. We've seen Avi, we've seen Jose, and Tim Anderson, probably the least likely guy you would think about high exit velocities, but he can shoot it through the infield with the best of them.
Ninth hit of the year for Tim. He has the 5 stolen bases as well, 5 for 5. And he thought about going there. He flinched towards second base, but didn't.
A lot of managers will call a pitch out here because you're ahead 0-1 already. So if Tim is thinking about going, what you'd rather go on is a slider, but you're not going to be able to guess pitches with Archer, so you guess counts. With Ramos looking over in the dugout to see just exactly what Kevin Cash, a former catcher himself, might want.
There goes Tim, and it's a ground ball, fair left side. Tim slipped around second base, so he has to pick himself up and go back to second. He was going to hook it for third.
Well, as soon as he saw Span as close as he was, even on a ball down the line, he recognized Span was close, and because he had his eyes on the left fielder, which is what you should do, he stumbles around the bag. So the ball is shot by Duffy. Span gets to it in a hurry, and we'll take a look at Tim. That appeared to be a straight steal because he never looked back, but when he saw Span, he put on the brakes.
Glad Tim's okay.
Yeah, that could have been something fairly serious.
Now Saladino to take strike 1. Tyler looking for that first hit here in 2018. In the air, center field. Gomez backing up. Tim tests him. Throw is a low liner, and Tim's in there without the ball getting to third. So runners at the corners, 2 down here in the 4th.
So if you're Tim Anderson, this is what you're looking for. You know that Archer loves that slider down and in. As you look at the replay, and there's no chance at third base, but Archer loves to throw that slider down and in to left-handers especially, and 80% of his strikeouts last year came with that slider down and in, but many of them wind up in the dirt. So a good secondary lead at third base will probably get you a run even on a short wild pitch, something that gets out of the dirt area. And we'll see if Archer buries one early in the count.
Omar hit a ball well in the second inning. Took Denard Span running toward the corner to make a sliding catch, and there is a high slider for strike one.
Usually those don't pay dividends. This time he got away with it. Not something he'd like to repeat too often, however.
Anderson at third, Garcia at first, and there is that lead for Tim, upwards of 20 feet.
It's that secondary lead that's important. And you saw exactly why. You don't want to take a big enough lead so you're actually going back to the bag when the pitch is delivered. Take a shorter lead, then come toward the plate when the pitch is delivered, and you'll be much better off on that short wild pitch or pass ball.
Ooh.
Not sure exactly if he was going to race him to the bag, but he's probably going to lose. And once you step back off the mound, you can do anything you want. So the fans would like a balk or something along those lines, but as long as the pitcher steps back off the mound, loses contact with the rubber, he's fine.
Wide of first and foul, so 1-2 on Omar.
Here's the pitch that if he's going to bury that slider, it's going to be here. And he's got to trust that Ramos is going to be able to smother it. So Ramos going out giving his set of signs to the infield. That's on what he's going to do if Garcia takes off to second. Whether he fakes a throw to third, whether he just holds it, whether he actually goes through with the throw. I don't think he'll throw to second base if he takes off. Tim would score easily. Here's a slider. Let's see if it's down and in buried.
It was buried, and Omar took it. 2-2.
Nice block by Ramos, because that's a run if it just smooths out. Watch it here. He goes down and doesn't try to catch it necessarily, but he covers up the 5-hole, angles his chest protector, brings the elbows in, and makes sure that the ball doesn't get by him. That's pretty strong technique.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Archer gets his 5th punch out. Sox strand 2 will go to the 5th. First pitch is downstairs to Wendell. Ball and no strikes. Been raining home runs for Shohei Ohtani out west.
How about his pitching performance? 1 hit in 7 innings. I think it was Marcus Semien that broke up what would have been miraculous, but they're still calling him Babe Ruth, and you'd have to figure with a guy that homered in 3 straight games, that also went 7 and struck out 12 with giving up just 1 hit. His stuff is magnificent. I saw him in spring training. I saw a succession of curveballs that were absolutely unhittable.
Ball's drilled on 2-0 to right field. Avi's back, and that ball pings over the wall and gone for Joey Wendell with his 3rd career home run.
We talked about the battling at bats that Wendell has had. The first inning was a monumental at bat. Now he got one to his liking, and his 3rd run driven in, his first home run this year. Let's take another look at it. Fastball, middle in, and gone. Thigh high to left-handers, that's a trouble spot. No trouble getting it out. Trouble for Miguel.
Now Gomez takes a strike.
Can't get careless with a fastball to Gomez, especially middle in, because he's a big, strong guy, and he will put a charge into it. He hit it very hard in the first inning.
That was a single to left. Eventually, the Rays got a run out of it on the RBI single from Duffy. To right center field. And Gomez busting it to second base. He has a double.
Now we will have to see if the bullpen starts up and going. The pitch count is high at 86, but also they're starting to square it up on Miguel. So that's the 3rd extra base hit, and this looked like a little cutter or slider down. Gomez goes right to it, keeps his head in, drills the ball to right center field. It skips on the wet grass all the way to the wall.
C.J. Cron, who walked in the first and flied out to center in the 3rd, takes a strike. Former draft pick of the Sox in the 44th round. He decided not to sign, and now here with Tampa.
He drilled the ball last time up, almost taking it out of the ballpark in left center field.
In the air, left center. Garcia is there. Gomez tags, and he is safe. So runner at 3rd, 1 down. Here is your Sox math answer and winner for today. 4 hits for Lopez, allowed in 2 starts. 26 is Avi's number. Suds 2 is your victor. Sox math presented by Audi.
Now the infield in once again. It worked last time. So with the bullpen up and going, it's Gregory Infante loosening in a hurry. Still just a 2-run ball game as the Rays lead 3-1 here in the top of the 5th inning.
When the Sox brought the infield in last inning, Tim Anderson cut down a runner at the plate. That was a strike.
Well, it was a perfect pitch, but what happened with Omar is he was sitting inside and took the ball out of the strike zone, and Sherwater didn't give him the benefit of the call because of the way it was received, not the location of the pitch.
But that is the perfect example of the way the catcher catches the ball does matter. It's why pitch framing does matter.
Fortunately, Duffy swung through that one because it was a hanging slider up in the zone. That time Omar did a good job of just easing the ball back over the inside corner, but doesn't get the benefit of the call. So Duffy looking for a fly ball at the very least. And Omar normally exceptional at receiving the baseball.
Two one. And he jabs the bunt. This is rolling foul.
That was a suicide, and all you got to do is get it on the grass. Fortunately, he did not. Duffy already has a run batted in, was looking for two as Gomez trots back to third. This is a straight suicide, and again, you want to bunt it, just get it on the grass. Fortunately, it trickles foul.
So 2-2 for Duffy. Gomez at third, one out. See if Gonzalez can get his first strikeout here. 2-2. Line to right. Avi gets over on it, and Duffy is going to stay at first. The Rays are back on the board, and they expand the lead to 4-1.
Here comes Ricky, and that day is done for Miguel Gonzalez. Giving up 8 hits in 4 1/3. So as Ricky walks out and Gregory Infante comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. On for the 5th time, so he's been a busy man. Things haven't worked out quite as well as he would like in the early going, but it's been very difficult for anybody to pitch. So as Ramos steps in, takes a long look down at third base. He's looking for that double play ground ball and out of the inning for Miguel. It's not the way he would have wanted to see it work out.
Duffy at first is his property, and Infante with a check over there. Infante was very good last year against the first batter he faced, which is nice to see, and certainly a positive out of the bullpen. Under 200 average against that first batter he saw last season. Some really good signs in yesterday's game from Bruce Rondon out of the bullpen. He was outstanding.
Well, you face 4 hitters, you fan 4 hitters. And whatever difficulties he had in the Detroit uniform were not in evidence yesterday in a Sox uniform. So credit the boys once again. Look, it's been this way for a long time. When Don Cooper gets anybody who comes over with any problems whatsoever, along with all of the boys in the front office and everybody associated with bringing great pitching and developing great pitching with the Sox, they get it done. Kurt Hassler is one of those guys that talks to these guys in the bullpen, but they just seem to be a bit better when they put on a Sox uniform. And by the way, that's not a coincidence. It's happened too many times for it to be incidental.
You and Hawk were talking about it yesterday, about Don Cooper and Kurt Hassler and everything they've done in order to improve some of the pitchers and even reclamation projects, certainly for Coop over the time he's been here.
Well, look at Matt Thornton. When he came over from Seattle, first-round draft pick, could not get the ball over the plate, had one session in the bullpen with Don Cooper and threw it over the plate consistently in his White Sox career.
Wilson Ramos is somewhere in there. Big wrap on his face. And rightfully so. Omar just dropped that ball.
Yeah, that's going to be a pass ball. That one just exploded inside. Maybe Omar was not expecting that kind of movement. He's also setting up low and away, and this one is inside. And, you know, that's the problem many times. When a major league pitcher throwing 94, 95 miles an hour misses his spot by 1.5 feet, sometimes you just can't blame the catcher. He's setting up, expecting the ball low and away. This ball is belt high and inside. I know you say he should catch it, but that's a long way to go for a fastball in the mid-90s.
Yeah, watching that replay, I actually amend what I was saying. I think that is a tough catch. Throw to second is not in time. Duffy's back.
Good quick tag by Moncada. As he catches it, goes straight down as quickly as he can. And believe me, there is an art to putting on a tag. Take a look at it again. Yuan comes there. The throw is high, but he comes straight down with it. You almost are coming down as you're catching the baseball. And the guys that do it well buy a lot of outs.
Up the middle, base hit. Duffy waved around, and the throw is gonna nip him. Larry Garcia guns down Duffy.
Time for our Danley's defensive play, and this is a dandy because it's a wet baseball, and Lurie comes on. Sets himself. He's got a strong arm. That's not debatable. And even though it's not on target, he got it there so quickly that he cuts him down at the plate. Duffy, no match for the tag of Narvaez, the arm of Garcia. And they cut down what would have been the 5th run. So when you think of garages, think Danley's.
Nice job by Omar to go out and get it, too. Put the tag down. So 2 out, Ramos at first. Don't forget, before you say, hey, 4-1, don't know if the Sox are going to come back, before you start to think that, remember, Tampa Bay gave up a 7-2 lead in the 8th inning yesterday and had a late lead against the Red Sox earlier in that series as well.
You also mentioned the struggles of Colomé, and when he doesn't get it done, the Rays don't get it done.
2-0. Avi for out number 3. So the Sox get the final out. The second one comes to the dish, 4-1. 3 had some opportunities early in this game with 2 left on in the first and 2 stranded in the fourth against Archer, but the North Carolina native has only given up the 1 run so far. Yohan Moncada.
Rossi changed that call to a wild pitch, which I thought was a proper call. And Bob Rosenberg will make a change if he feels that there's another consideration to take into consideration.
Yeah, I did the same thing Rosie did. At first glance, I thought Omar just dropped it. And then you watch the run on that fastball, and that's a tough catch.
Long way to go for a catcher when a guy throws in the mid-90s, from low and away to up and in.
That's hit hard again. Moncada having quite the day at the plate. 2 hits and a walk. And the leadoff man on for the Sox here in the 5th.
Archer, one of the toughest pitchers around to hit, and Yohan showing what he's going to be like at the top. Takes it right back up the middle. Once again, an excellent time for a stolen base, even with the middle of the order coming up. It's a very tough day to hit, so you're not going to start thinking about home runs. Certainly Southpaw's not thinking about it. He's thinking about contact.
Southpaw is the warmest person in the building right now.
I think we should petition to have him come up here and just hang around that furry green fellow.
I think the fur giveaway coming up might be a good idea. As this ball trickles away and Yohan is in too. Second base standing up.
We'll take another look. That is a wild pitch as that one eats up Ramos, who does a very nice job of making a play of it.
So this is the situation Avi saw in the 3rd inning. Runner at second, nobody out. He grounded out to 3rd in that at bat. One and one. Only game going on in Major League Baseball is ours right now. Cubs postponed, everyone else later, starting at 5:10. Detroit and Cleveland. Liriano versus Kluber.
That should be delightful weather.
Oof. Avi into the sky, center field. Gomez camped. Moncada tags. And he is into 3rd. I think maybe the Rays might check and see if he left early.
Well, with all of the video evidence, if he did, Kevin Catch and his boys are going to figure it out.
I don't know. First glance, I thought maybe, but there's no look from Tampa Bay. So runner at 3rd, 1 out. Avi does get the job done to move over the runner. Now Abreu. On a slider, he got under it and popped it up on the infield. Crone for out number 2. Get the latest White Sox gear at the Chicago Sports Depot, your official store of the Chicago White Sox. Conveniently located by Gate 5 off 35th Street. The depot can be accessed during games via the bridge by Section 145 and is open 12 to 5 on non-game days. For current deals and promotions, follow the @White Sox store on Instagram. Two down, Delmonico. Sox with runners in scoring position have struggled in this homestand.
That's to say the least. They've had a number of opportunities, not only against Archer here in the 1st inning where they came away with a run without the benefit of a hit, but a couple of times during the previous series where they had a pitcher on the ropes early, failed to put him away, only to pay the price for it. Aaron Bummer is sitting there contemplating his glove. It's a bounce back year for Aaron.
0-2 on Nicky. That ball's crushed to right field by Delmonico. It is gone! Just got over the wall. Nicky, a 2-run homer on 2 strikes. And suddenly the Sox are back in at 4-3.
Archer very mad at himself because he had an opportunity to bury a slider. Instead, he kept it thigh high, and Nicky unloaded. Home run number 1 this year. He's now driven in 3. And this game just got a little more entertaining. That ball hung right over the plate. Archer gives up a titanic home run, a line drive rocket. And just like that, Nicky Delmonico puts the Sox right back in the middle of this ball game.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. So Yohan gets on to lead off the inning. Delmonico drives him in with the home run. And it's a 4-3 game here in the series opener.
Yohan has scored 2 of the 4 runs, and that's his job. Get on for the other boys to get him over and get him in, and that's exactly what happened, all with one swing of the Delmonico bat.
And as we talk to Ricky Renteria in Toronto about why Yohan Moncada is at the top of the lineup card, and it's because he puts together quality trips to the plate. A full count walk in the first inning, an ambush in the third on the double, and then a base hit to get himself on ahead of the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, and Delmonico did the job.
And for Archer, he now leads the staff in home runs given up, that dubious department. Team has given up 11. And that's in 9.5 games.
1-2 breaking ball popped up by Sanchez. Well, the Rays have been on the road for a while. They get an off day coming up on Thursday and then head back home. Sox will be on the road to Minneapolis and Oakland as Nicky tries to stay warm.
The Twins resting uncomfortably atop the division. They're 4-3, so nobody's running away with the Central. It's sitting there waiting for the Sox to start to heat it up. Minnesota at 4-3, Detroit at 4-4, the Tribe at 4-5, then our Sox at 3-5, with Kansas City at 2-5.
1-2. Good breaking ball again. That's how he's ended the last couple of innings, Archer. But Nicky Delmonico got him, and it's a 4-3 game.
Aaron Bummer coming in the ball game, and now it's just a one-run game. Courtesy of Nicky Delmonico, as Aaron Bummer on for the 5th time has yet to give up an earned run. So things moving pretty well. He's got terrific stuff. There's no doubt about that. Everything he throws moves. He's got a good sinking fastball. If he gets it in the zone, he's going to be fine, and he's going to be exactly what the Sox believe he can be, and that is a quality left-hander out of the pen.
He gets a left-hander first, Malik Smith, who bunts, not surprisingly.
Not real good technique either, because he almost threw the bat at the ball instead of just going out there and making sure of contact. That's the first thing. If you don't keep it between the lines, you can be as fast as you want to be, and it's not going to help you at all. He will work on that technique, because the bunt has to be a huge part of his game, despite the fact that he's hit the ball pretty well here today.
2 strikes on Smith. There's no better way to watch a White Sox game than in premium seating. Enjoy first-class amenities in our all-inclusive club areas or private suites. For more information, 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. 0-2. Smith punches that ball to left field. Nice piece of hitting by Malik Smith on 2 strikes.
He's shown that he can swing the bat. I know that bunting will be a big part of his game, but so far it's been a whole lot of contact. And a triple that drove in a run back in the 4th.
Got to worry about that speed now. Rev Snyder, the batter. And ball number 1. For Malik Smith, he has made a living out of hitting the ball here in Chicago. He has now 6 games of 3 or more hits in his career, and 3 of them have happened in this city. 2 against the Cubs, and this one here today against the Sox. As the smell of caramel corn comes barreling into the booth. Smells like a ballpark.
Didn't notice it.
That ball kicks away, and Smith to second base.
Now I'm noticing it.
Smells like our nation's pastime.
I love caramel corn in the morning. It smells like victory to me. As you see one in the dirt, and this one gets away. So it probably will be a wild pitch, you would assume.
Two and one after the meeting at the mound. 1 of 6 allotted for the Sox in the game. Average game time, I was reading a piece earlier today, average game time right around 3 hours. But part of the good news about game time is that instant replay challenges are significantly down to about 1:20 this year.
You can really tell the difference, because more times than not, they figure it out very quickly. They get back to baseball, which is what you want in the first place. And look, we knew it would be a work in progress, because that's, you know, when it was installed for all the right reasons, but they had some difficulty.
Smith is off, and he may come home. This ball kicks away. He decides not to press it. Smith was almost to third as that ball bounded out of the reach of Narvaez, and there was a chance he was going to think about coming home.
Well, credit Yolmer. If Yolmer doesn't sprint after the baseball, there's no chance for Omar to get it, even though Aaron Bummer gets the plate. And you can see Omar with his hand. Omar is yelling for Aaron Bummer to take the plate, because he thought he was going to go have to get the ball. You see him pointing right there, but Yolmer, hustling to the screen, made sure that Smith had to stay at third base. That's a big run out there.
One tipped foul, so still 3-2 on Rob Refsnyder, who in this situation last time up bounced a ball to shortstop. Tim Anderson threw home and chopped down that runner, Malik Smith.
Just in case the bullpen up and going again, looks like Danny Farquhar, and that would be after the Span and Wendell part.
Strike three. Good time for the first strikeout for the Sox today. It comes with nobody out and a runner at third in the sixth.
Big strikeout for Aaron Bummer. Not a real quality at bat. You saw the sink in that one, and that's what the Sox see when they see Bummer. They see really good stuff, a very good arm. Lacking the consistency perhaps, but as a guy that's just been given the baseball recently in the major leagues, he's going to get better. When he does, he will be a factor.
Now a battery of left-handers, so Span first and then Wendell another lefty.
It's going to be a big challenge for Omar Narvaez because Aaron, throwing that heavy sinking fastball, throws a lot of pitches in the dirt. Now Leury Garcia is shifting drastically. He was in right center, now shifts just to the left of center because Span has been an off-field hitter for years.
So far today, a fly out to right, a line out to second, and a pop out to short as Danny Farquhar loosens up.
That's Kurt Hassler with him. The only way they're close to the same size is if Danny's on the mound and Kurt is on the flat ground.
Kurt's a big guy.
Very big, like 6'7". Danny is not.
Kurt's son Drew, by the way, great moment for the family. Got into a big league spring training game this year.
Don Cooper wants to know if Farquhar is ready to go. Kurt Hassler answers the phone either in the affirmative or the negative. And you would think by the time he would be called upon, he would absolutely be ready to go.
What was that extra sign from Omar there for the defense? Line drive. That'll get the job done. The Rays make it a 5-3 game.
Good piece of hitting, and Span has driven in his 8th run of the year, which for a leadoff hitter is pretty good. Denard has been their best player consistently this year. So this one stays up on the inner portion. Span does what he needs to do, which is hit the ball in the air. This turns out to be a line drive and plates the run.
So the Rays, just after the Sox grab the 2 on the Delmonico homer, make it 5-3. Left-hander out of Nebraska, Aaron Bummer against Wendell.
Barring a double play, it's going to be Farquhar for Gomez, Crone, Duffy, Ramos, and who knows who else. Hopefully not in this inning.
Well, Wendell's grounded out twice. There's a strike.
Interrupted by that pesky home run.
That'll always get in the way.
Which he hit awfully hard.
Yes, he did. Wendell's putting some good swings on the ball.
Yeah, he's staying in there nicely, and that he's as built. He was, you know, a guy without super talent. You don't have to have super talent to play in the major leagues, but you grind out each and every at bat. He's been able to do that. He's off to a good start. Hit his first home run of the year last inning.
Cursory throw to first by Bummer. 30 games last year for Aaron, 22 innings, 13 hits only. The walks were the trouble spot with 15 of them compared to 17 strikeouts. That very easily could have been strike 3.
Stu has missed a couple today, but all in all, pretty good job beyond the plate.
Throw coming into second is not in time. Stolen base for Span.
Current Major League manager and former great Dodger catcher Mike Scioscia told me that there are no outs on the third base side of second. So if you're going to miss on the first base side of second. This is on the third base side, and Span was not quite as fast as he used to be, but plenty fast enough to steal a bag is in there.
And Bummer dispatches of Wendell, so 2 down. Gomez coming up.
And that is going to be it as Ricky comes out to summon Danny Farquhar. Has not yet motioned to the pen, but Danny will come in, Aaron Bummer will come out, and as he trots in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. Danny Farquhar comes into ball game, and he inherits Denard Span at second base. There you look at the numbers so far. ERA good, 1-1 record. A lot of decisions for a man out of the pen, especially a man in the middle. Last year, he limited leadoff hitters to 174, and that's a fine batting average, a good attribute to have. If you're a relief pitcher, make sure the first hitter you face does not get on.
Danny may endear himself to the theater crowd in Chicago. His walkout music is from Hamilton.
Billy Hamilton?
Alexander. Billy's fast, though.
Very fast. Getting
0-1.
is the key.
Yes, it is. Alex Smith has mastered that so far today with his speed at 3 for 3. He's the one that started this inning with a single wild pitch stolen base, and then he came home on the Span RBI.
Omar's having quite a day behind the plate. A lot of pitches in the dirt, and he's blocked most of them.
Well, there are swings, and there's that.
Leaving nothing to the imagination, that high leg kick, which has characterized Gomez throughout his career. He usually goes down on one knee. Sometimes he hits the ball very hard and goes down on one knee.
Timber. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Little tip into the glove. gets the job done. Farquhar strikes out Gomez. In terms of what he's going to do when he walks, he says, we celebrate every walk, and that means he's going to, he says, hug Darryl Boston every time he gets to first base on a walk. So Debo, your embrace is being awaited by Tim Anderson. Boy, I getting better, says Tim. Hashtag trending.
I think Darryl is going to be walking up the line when Tim walks next time. Make him walk out to the right field to give him the hug.
Strike one to Anderson. Tim with a single to left last time. Strikeout in the first. Slugging at .581 to start this year with his 3 home runs. A little high. One pitch is up again. So 2-1 on Tim. Sox trying to get back in the run column after 2 in the 5th. The Rays countered, though, with the 1 in the top half of this inning. North Carolina native Chris Archer gets a swing and a miss, 2-2.
That was a very hittable slider. He left it up. Tim just swung through it.
Pitch number 84 from Archer. Slider again, struck him out.
We saved his best for last because that one was unhittable. Take another look and you'll see why Archer perennially strikes out over 230 men a year, because of this pitch right there. The bottom just drops out of it. That was one of his better sliders to right-handers. He usually reserves his best to lefties.
He walked 2 in the first inning and hasn't walked anybody since. So 2 walks, 7 strikeouts for Archer. And here's Leury Garcia to take what's called ball 1. Bouncer slightly gets away. So 2-1 on Garcia, who's now 4 for 14 on the year. gets the start today. Adam Engel on the bench. Matt Davidson available as well, along with Wellington Castillo.
Also had a big assist today and a great throw from center field to help keep this game as close as it is. So a good day all around for Lurie.
2-1 is rocked to right field. Smith on the run, and he's not going to get there into the corner, but foul. And a nice catch by the little one. Souvenir to remember. Rub it up. Enjoy it. 2-2. It's time now for Sticks and Stones, sponsored by Volkswagen. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWdealer.com. Which bullpen coach in Rays history shares a birth date with Steve Stone?
Lucas Giolito.
Not an answer.
I'll say it's either Gomez, Borowski, or Sinatro. 33% chance. I'll take Sinatro, only because he's the answer to every one of my questions.
That one gets away. Robertson couldn't cleanly glove it, and the Sox have the tying run coming up. Garcia's going to take it on the error by the shortstop, Robertson.
Just after missing a double, he slices his ball to shortstop, and Robertson, going down with one hand, just has the ball flip out of the glove. So he played the hop well. He kept the glove down, played the hop well, but then it eluded him.
1 on, 1 out. Tyler Saladino in search of that first hit here in 2018. Ball 1 to Tyler.
Archer will be in the middle of his 6th year in the major leagues. 29 years old coming into this year. Will turn 30 at the end of the season. Not expected to stay in a Rays uniform all that long.
Yeah, if you're talking about rebuilding, there is quite a bit of value in that right arm.
Well, you look at some of these numbers. ERAs in the 3 for 3 straight years. From 2013 through 2015, then in the low 4s in 16 and 17, but high strikeout totals.
He just tied David Price with that strikeout of Anderson, tied David Price for 2nd on the all-time list for Tampa Bay, dating back to 1998, of course, when they were the Devil Rays. They broke out the Devil Rays jerseys earlier this year to celebrate the 20-year anniversary.
Trying to do everything they can to break that losing streak, but they've got the lead in this one after losing 8 straight.
1-1. There's a slider for a strike. How about this? Chris Archer played on a North Carolina high school all-star team with both Dustin Ackley and Kyle Seager. Scary team.
Well, Ackley in college was all everything,
Yeah.
and Seager in the pros has been all everything. Ackley's still trying to get acclimated.
Check swing, ball low, and they do say strike 3. Larry Garcia into second base. Cedarstrom rings up Saladino, 2 down.
Ramos tried to throw it, looking for the strike him out, throw him out, double play, but the ball was in the dirt. He comes up without the baseball. Did a nice job of making sure it didn't get by him, but Lurie makes it easily into second base, but there are 2 outs. Giancarlo Stanton has had 2 5-strikeout games in the early going.
They were booing him.
Well, that'll happen in New York. You got to figure when you take off that Marlins jersey and you put on that Yankee jersey, you're going to hear some boos. And if you're not ready to deal with that, don't go to Boston, Philadelphia, or New York. They're not good places if you're struggling. However, if you're doing well, they love you.
Oh, they do.
Yes, sir.
Archer, by the way, we mentioned he's 2nd place now in all-time strikeouts for Tampa Bay. He's trying to track down the James Shields record in that category. This ball to left. Span can't get there. It's down on the warning track. Omar comes through. Garcia scores. It's 5-4.
Rays bullpen continues to work. Omar, who was robbed on a line drive taken away by Span in the second inning, finally gets one over his head and by him. He drives in his first run of the year. He gets a fastball, inside-out swing, and puts enough juice into it to get over Denard's head. So just like that, it's a one-run game, and Kyle Snyder comes out. He is the new pitching coach, taking the place of Jim Hickey, who was here for a long time. Hickey joined Joe Madden over on the north side of town, longtime duo for the Rays, and they did a great job with the Rays in a situation where one year they cleaned out the entire bullpen and restarted the pen. You see 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys turn over. You very rarely will see a whole bullpen turn over in 1 year. But Hickey was outstanding. They like Kyle Snyder because he came up with all of these young guys from the minor leagues. And they feel that he was the best man for the job, which is why they did it internally. He knew all of the young kids from the minor leagues. Many of those young kids are now right here in Tampa Bay in the Major League Club. Kyle Snyder, a good teacher of pitching, and he's going to do very well with Kevin Cash as his manager.
Former catcher as he is, Kevin Cash. Now, Yoan Moncada takes a ball. He has seen Archer very well today. A walk, a double, and a single. 2 runs scored for Moncada. Still got good snap on that slider. Here's your Sticks and Stone answer, brought to you by Volkswagen. Which Rays bullpen coach shares a birth date with Steve? The answer is Stan Borowski.
Crushed again.
Sorry. There's a sneak peek into the Rays bullpen. 1-1 on Moncada. Upstairs, 2-1 on the fastball. So Avi's next. He's 0 for 3, and there's Chaz Rowe getting loose in the Tampa Bay bullpen. High slider, 3-1. So 3 sliders and a fastball for Moncada, 3-1. Does he dare throw him a fastball here, or does he say hit the slider or don't hit it?
For me, I've got to go with the slider. You don't have a man at third, so you don't have to worry if it gets by. He wants to bury it down and in. Let's see what Ramos wants.
He caught the corner with it, 3-2.
Well, you can tell it's a comfort pitch, and also you can tell that he doesn't care if he walked Moncada with the righty-righty matchup coming up, because he throws a backdoor slider, shaves off the outside corner, perfect pitch. And now if he's going to go to the slider again, it is going to be the wipeout pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Omar at second. Payoff. Stayed up, and Moncada spoiled it.
Yeah, that was a mistake. He was very fortunate to get away with it. You see Ramos pretty much up on his haunches to make sure that he was able to have some mobility in case he did bury that ball. Many times when a catcher calls a fastball, he'll sit back and he'll frame the pitch for him. But that time, thinking that he was going to bury the ball, he was prepared for anything in the dirt. So he's looking up at the hands of Moncada. Then he looks at the feet to see if he's gotten closer to the plate.
Upstairs, ball 4. Moncada with his 4th trip on the base path today. 2 on, 2 out for Avi Garcia, and let's see if it is Chaz Rowe, and it will be.
102 pitches, and that's going to be it for Archer, who leaves with the game on the bases. So as Rowe comes in, we'll step out and be back after these messages. world-class transplant team. UI Healthcare is changing medicine for good. Visit uihealth.care. And Chaz Rowe comes in the ball game to try to subdue things here as the Sox creeping ever closer. The thin right-hander with a 7.36 ERA on for the 6th time. Opponent sitting 286. That's not good.
He is predominantly a slider pitcher, and that's where Avi Garcia made a big jump last season in a number of areas, certainly, but the way he hit the slider was much improved last year. 198 in 2016 was his average against the slider. That jumped to 302 in his All-Star year last year.
There's only a couple of guys that can live with one pitch. Larry Anderson comes to mind, the long-time right-handed reliever that could paint that corner on a slider. But if you keep on throwing things away to right-handers, you're going to reach out, go that way, and there's a run batted in for Avi to right field.
That one backs up and is a strike.
Good break on it because it wasn't where he wanted it, but yet it broke so sharply that it buckled the knees of Avi and he couldn't swing, and no reason to. Is that the first strike? Jose Alvarado loosening in the pen.
Fastball yanked to third. Duffy to second. Inning over. Sox have stranded 7. But they do get a run. 5-4 your score. Barons had more success in terms of the win column. Ian Clarkin was very good. 4-0 the score in game number 1. Sebi Zavala went 2 for 3 in the game as well. Clarkin in his start in game number 1, 4 hits in 5 1/3. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for Ian Clarkin, who came over as part of that trade for David Robertson and Tommy Cantley, among others.
Sebi can hit. He showed in spring training. That is an impressive hitting catcher. And so keep your eye on him. Not one of the most highly touted guys in the system, but boy, he can swing the bat. And if you can hit, any team's going to find a place for you.
One ball and 2 strikes to C.J. Cron. Congratulations, by the way, to Omar Vizquel with Winston-Salem with his first win managerially for the Dash. That came just the other day. Nice to see Omar leading that squad down there in Winston-Salem.
There is no doubt that Omar is going to be a great manager. That was a wonderful addition to the organization because not only did he have a world of talent, but he was always a cerebral player. Omar could think his way through games better than just about anybody that I've seen, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a major league manager in the not too distant future.
To third, Sanchez. Here's out number 1. MLB at Bat is your #1 White Sox app. Get White Sox home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. With Steve Stone, Jason Benetti, our entire crew here in Chicago. A little late first pitch, 1:30 or so, but Roger Bossard and his group made this field playable and then some. Well done to Roger. Tip of the cap from all of us here on great work with his guys.
And also, I mean, you know, you look at the mound, you look at the plate, you say great job by Roger, and it was. But you also look at the outfield, because it's real easy with pockets of no drainage to make it tough for outfielders to actually not be able to throw the ball. And we've seen today with Leary Garcia in center field that the ball is not quite as slick as it probably would be on some other fields. So excellent drainage here, a la Roger Bossard, who does it better than anybody.
By the way, Danny Farquhar has been impressive his last couple of outings.
He had one real tough outing, and other than that, the stuff has been good. And he's going up in the strike zone to go with that sinker down, and that was the sinker down.
Matt Duffy, 2 runs driven in today. 1 on a ball to the right side of the infield in the first, and then a single to right in the 5th. So everything has been central or right field today for Duffy. Fastball flew on Farquhar, 2-2. Oh, great pitch. Duffy thought about pulling the trigger, then didn't want to, and then he did, and it was way late.
Well, this one he's got to take out of Omar's glove, because the ball is by him before he decides he's going to swing. And he realizes that ball had too much of the plate. Looks like he's going to swing, looks like he's going to try to check it up, but it was in the zone, so he went out, and it produced a strikeout.
Two down for Wilson Ramos, who's 1 for 3. Foul pop out to first, a ground ball to third, and a single to center. And Ramos goes straight up the middle again. Moncada, backhand, the throw is not on target. And Ramos beats it out.
Something that will not be said a whole lot this year.
Ramos beats it out?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was said by Jason Bonetti on this, the 9th of April, in the year 2018. One of the few infield hits you're going to see, and a fine play by Yoan Moncada as he goes up the middle with the backhand. The throw, he had no time to plant, and Ramos does indeed get his second hit and his first of the infield variety.
And you know, credit Ramos. He is a big guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he was booking it down the line.
You know, you got to hustle. It's a close game, a one-run game, and so for your manager, Kevin Cash, and for your teammates especially, you want to hustle each and every time.
There's a strike. So Ramos at first, 2 out in the inning. Farquhar, who came on with a runner on in the 6th, looking for a full inning and a third here today.
You know, I found out something very interesting today, and you learn things every day in this game. The game has a lot to teach you. I found out today that if I looked in the media guide, Stan Borowski's birthday is prominent as July 14th.
Yeah.
So you could have asked the question, Nicholas Giolito and his birthday.
Who's Nicholas? Is that Lucas's brother?
Yes, that is exactly who it is. And so we're all sharing the same birthday, but it's right here. It's in the guide, and I didn't think to look.
Knowledge is power, kids. Sanchez to first. There is out number 3. Ramos stranded. We'll get a cake for Steve. 5-4.
The Rays, the present day Rays, 856 with a 7.74 and a 525 win percentage. So when you dare to compare, well, you see that they're better off with the Rays and Joe Madden managing the ball club, which he did primarily during that time. Shop in-store or online at mybobs.com to dare to compare.
Guess what? We got sunlight.
We do, and I can tell it's warmed up precipitously.
By the way, there's a current Major League manager who was in the lineup for the very first Tampa Bay Devil Ray game.
Could it have been Dave Martinez, maybe?
It was.
How about that?
Yeah.
The Washington Nationals, Dave Martinez, they made a great pick. Unfortunately, the Nationals, not quite the start they were looking for, but they find themselves at 4-5. The Mets at 7-1, and the surprising Atlanta Braves, only surprising to teams that didn't know how much talent they have in Atlanta and a stacked minor league system. The Braves are 6-3, game and a half behind the Mets.
Mets are playing great baseball. Our old pal Todd Frazier has gone into the clothes creation business. He made T-shirts for his Mets teammates saying salt and pepper. They have a new celebration they do with salt and pepper shakers, so Todd had some shirts made.
Yeah, they've won 5 games in a row, and the pitching, which when healthy is always dominant, this year they are healthy, and you don't want to face that staff. They throw hard. They've got good breaking stuff, and as a staff, they have probably as good a stuff in the starting rotation as any team in baseball.
.240 ERA so far for the Mets. That's second best in baseball, only to the Astros, who figure out how they're going to give up runs. Houston.
Well, when you figure that out, figure out how you're going to stop them from scoring runs and stop them from stealing bases and stop their bullpen from shutting down games, as well as their starters from dominating you. And if you do that, you got a chance to beat Houston, who's 8-2. But the Angels 7-3, and Ohtani, the buzz of baseball.
After spring training, when folks said, there was a very prominent piece written about Shohei Ohtani that said maybe they'll think about sending him down, though they really can't, but he doesn't look like he's up to the part. And so many people were so very wrong about that, at least so far.
Well, I think a lot like Ichiro, he probably just was lulling people into a false sense of security in spring training because he didn't want to give anything away, because it looked like he couldn't hit. It looked like Ichiro couldn't hit his first spring training. But they both can really hit, and that was a dandy of a slider, and you can tell why Rowe is in the major leagues, because when that slider's around the plate, nobody can do anything with it. And so now the call to the pen, Rowe's job is done. Kevin Cash comes out, and we will step out as Alvarado comes in. on for the 6th time. He's been brilliant. Opponent's batting average at 176. He comes in with the bases clean. There's one out here in the 7th inning. And he's going to combat Nicky Delmonico, whose 2-run homer in the 5th inning was the blast that got the Sox back. Our 4th drive of the game is Nicky Delmonico on a slider that didn't slide until it slid out of the ballpark into the bullpen near the Bertucci boys. Nicky Delmonico at the time made it a 4-3 game.
All it takes is one swing right now.
You better call her, make sure she didn't fall out.
Alvarado. Nicky high in the air, right field. Malik Smith fearing to make the catch for out number 2.
Jason, it appears like you're auditioning for Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
Very nice. That's a good look. You know, a lot of guys can't pull that off, but on you, it looks equally as bad.
It's chilly.
But there's warmth, which is the key. Would you like to borrow my glove?
No, I just like this spring training sweatshirt, honestly.
It's really a handsome shirt, especially with the hood.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
I can still see the field. Really appreciate it, Uncle Steve.
You do some of your best work facing the field.
2 down for Sanchez. And that is a strike.
Alvarado's always had pretty good stuff. Just a question, like everybody else, can you get it over the plate? And he's been around a while. If you can get it over the plate and you throw with your left arm, you're going to find a job.
Yeah, there's a place for you somewhere.
Absolutely. Last year, the ERA at 3.64 with these Rays. He actually came into professional baseball in 2012 with the Rays, finally seeing the light of day in the major leagues last year. And this year, everything he throws is moving.
0-2. That was nasty. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Like a lot of guys that eventually make it to the major leagues out of the bullpen, he started out as a starter. But not his first year. His first year, they didn't know quite what to do with him. He was in the pen for 12 games. Then he started all of 2013. He started all but 1 game in 2014 before moving full-time to the pen.
One, 2. Another breaking ball, and I don't know that felt great for Ramos.
No, that time it looked like it got a lot of the throwing hand and not much of the glove. We'll take another look. Right there off the throwing hand as he tried to block it.
Throws a lot of fastballs. 2-2 from Alvarado. And off the plate, 3-2.
Rays pen up and going. Sergio Romo. At one point, the closer for the Giants. We saw him with Oakland. The diminutive right-hander has been around. He's a slinger. He throws it low 3/4, sometimes sidearm.
3-2. Well hit and through the left side. Base knock for Yolmer. Tying run is on for the Sox again.
So with Anderson coming up next, you'd have to figure it's time for Romo. And watch it again. Alvarado gets one up in the zone. Yolmer drills it into left field. He's got a run batted in. This is his first hit. And that will appear to be it for Alvarado, who will depart this one.
So Alvarado coming out, Sergio Romo on the way in. We've told you about what happened yesterday in the minor leagues around the Sox system, and let's take a look at what's going on around the minors tonight. Sox Down on the Farm brought to you by GMC again, and Michael Kopech scheduled to start for Charlotte at lovely Harbor Park in Norfolk. Every team on the road except for Low A Kannapolis. And in Kannapolis, Tate Blackman has a hit in all 4 of his games this season. Former Ole Miss infielder. He was 3 for 6 in that doubleheader sweep yesterday for Kannapolis. He has had a whale of a season to start the year, Tate Blackman, as Sergio Romo checks in for Tampa Bay in a 1-run game.
At this point, you'd have to consider him the venerable Sergio Romo on for the 5th time. You see a pretty good start to this one. Opponent's batting average at 182. That's always a good sign. However, the whip a little bit higher than he would like. But he does throw low three-quarters, occasionally sidearm. Very tough on the right-handers, fairly vulnerable to the left-handers. But he's brought in to get the last out of the 7th, and it's going to be a right-hander he faces with Tim Anderson, who's been hitting the ball very well in the early going.
Tim 1 for 3 today, 9 for 32 this season so far. 3 home runs. A chance now with Yolmer Sanchez at first. Sox and Rays were tied at 1 after 1, 2-1 Tampa after 4, 4-3 Tampa after 5, and now 5-4 after 6 as Tim bats against Romo.
Well, the shadows, at least when the game started, were non-factor. Right now, they're a bit of a factor. Not bright sunshine, but certainly some sunshine, and that's a portent of things to come tomorrow. Come out to the ballpark. There's going to be 2 games against these same Rays, and the weather is going to be much better than today. And for those hardy souls that, number 1, knew that this game was not a night game, changed to a day game, and 2, braved the elements to come out, we thank you very much for being here. It's been a very good ball game. It'll get a whole lot better. The Sox put up a couple of more runs, and at 37 degrees, it's just a little chilly.
1-0 slider, 1-1 on Anderson. So Romo last year, 58% slider, 34% fastball, and just a sparing changeup, although he did throw more changeups to start this year than certainly the last couple of years.
He was used as a setup man last year, but the ERA was 147 in 30 games overall, 25 with these Rays. If you can use him as a specialist, or he's just facing right-handers, he's very effective. In fact, back in 2013 with the Giants, he had 38 saves and a .254 ERA in 65 games. Durability was his long suit. 69, 65, 64, and 70 games respectively from 12 to 2015.
Romo career right-handers 185 against him, a .230 on base percentage against Sergio Romo for right-handers all time. Left-handers 238 and 307.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, they didn't really pace them, but comparatively they did a good job, and that was up in the eyes of Tim. That one was very hittable. He fouled it straight back. Normally when a hitter fouls the ball straight back, he's right on it, but usually just under it, and that slider stays right up in his eyes. Very hittable pitch, but nothing doing on that one. He makes that mistake again, and it could very well be a few runs on the board for the Sox.
Yolmer at first, 1-2 on Tim, and another throw to first base.
You have to figure this is going to be a sinker down and in, especially after hanging that last slider. We'll see what Ramos wants. Romo, veteran pitcher, he's going to call his game, and when a guy is 8 games over 500 lifetime with a career .269 ERA in the major leagues, he knows how to get it done.
Slider, strike 3. All sliders for Tim. Inning over. 5-4 after 7. or more. Jewel Osco local since 1899. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
A new pitcher in the ball game after a fine job by Danny Farquhar. Luis Avilan comes in the ball game on for the 5th time, the ERA at 3.38. You got to hold him right here, because although the boys are swinging the bat a bit better today, you don't want to see any more runs in this one-run deficit, especially late, because Colomé, their closer, is going to turn it around. He's a quality closer who's struggling in the early going.
Malik Smith again slashes at a bunt and misses, nothing in one. He's 3 for 3 swinging away.
I think what he wants to do is just make sure that they're pulled in at the corners, because with that technique, he's not getting any hits that way. But if he can show bunt enough, they're going to be in at both corners, and then he's got some room to slap it by him.
Breaking ball, top foul, 0-2.
Smith has done a very nice job today. We knew about the speed. He's stolen a base. But the triple in the 4th inning, a big part of that inning, as it drove home Robertson and gave him his first run batted in of the year.
0-2. Ball's ripped to right field, and a fair ball for Smith. Into the corner it goes. And he's going to stop at second this time. So a 4 for 4, tying a career high 4 hits for Malik Smith. Oh, Tim said, stop it.
Tim said, okay, that's enough. And this essentially was a setup pitch, and that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I know that they're obviously trying to go with the inside fastball as a setup pitch, but he's not going to hit that Avilan curveball very well, and he didn't look good on it previously in the at-bat. So a double, leaving him a home run away from the cycle. If he does get one, it's probably going to be of the inside the park variety, and let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Refsnyder now. And a look at second by Avilan. Luis has been very good against lefties for his career. Rare hit there, and Malik Smith continues to do a number on the Sox today.
With the defensive setup, Tim Anderson is charged with holding Smith close at second base. You got to hold him close, because he will take off. You got to look a couple of times, and also with the defensive setup, there's nobody home on the left side. So although you figure Refsnyder's going to try to do what he can to hit the ball to right field and move along Smith, which is what you want here, either that or a push bunt, which is particularly effective with a left-hander on the mound.
There's a strike. Sox in the 8th. They'll bring up Garcia, Saladino, and Narvaez, but that doesn't mean we won't see Castillo off the bench, Davidson off the bench, Angle available as well. Oh, 1 to Refsnyder will have to wait to throw to second to get Smith a little closer. Tim with an extra shove on Malik Smith.
That's the friendly rivalry aspect of it.
Doing a little talking there too, sneaking behind. It's outside.
Getting to the point where Yolmer cannot come in any further than he is, because Smith is really fast, and you want to be able to get back to the bag. You also want to make sure you look at least a second time to second base.
1-1.
Gary Cedarstrom says no with the casual little hand flip. Not definitive, but the little hand flip, saying, nah, I don't think so.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, that was about a 2 of a chance that you're going to get that call.
If that.
2 balls and a strike. In the air, left field. Nicky is over at the line to make the catch. No tag from Smith, 1 away.
That's really not a particularly good at bat for Refsnyder, because he didn't even try to hit the ball to the right side. And you've got to move the runner along in that situation. especially as they move to the top with their most accomplished hitter coming up in Denard Span, who's been a good hitter for a long time. Smith was absolutely one step from taking off to third base because he looked like he was ready to go. He started, but he stopped, and then the fly out to left.
Another throw to second base. Smith there easily. That's not necessarily to try to pick up the out, though. It's just to bring him back to the bat.
But he's still going to get a big lead, and Luis took only one look back 2 different times in that at-bat to Refsnyder, and if he continues to do that, Smith is gone, even though it's an open throw to third with a left-hand hitter up.
Denard Span 0 for 13 all time against Avilan. Throw to third is not in time. A stolen base for Smith.
Well, he looked back one time, cost him the stolen base as Smith was off to the races, and that pickoff move was not going to get him. You need multiple looks to second, or this is going to happen to you. Second stolen base of the game. What Refsnyder couldn't do, Smith does with his own legs, and then he hooks the bag away from the tag, and that's a huge run 90 feet away.
1-run game. 1 down, runner at third. Span and Avilan saw each other in the National League East in the past with the Braves and the Nationals. Span being a former Washington player, Avilan Atlanta.
We saw Span come up with the Twins, and he was just exactly the prototype Twins player. Very fast, put the bat on the ball, went and got him in the outfield, played center field. I mean, he was the guy that the Twins epitomized.
He was also the guy that the Nationals thought was going to put him over the top when they went out and got him.
Until they decided that Adam Eaton was really that guy, and the cost for Adam Eaton was very high. Ricky Renteria looking over his boys who battled back into this game, down 4-1, find themselves now down 5-4. But with only 1 out, the infield in, a huge situation for Avilan and the Sox. Tim loosening up that arm on a very cold day. He's already had a 6-2 throw to home and tag him out today.
Check swing, ball low, 2-2 on Span. Luis Avilan, who debuted back in 2012 with Atlanta, 3 full seasons with the Braves, and he split time between the Braves and Dodgers in 2015. With the infield in, 2-2. A breaking ball misses.
Span is yet to strike out, and this is a situation that cries out for contact. So Luis is trying to get him with the big breaking ball. And Denard Span, who's been around a long time in many of these situations, trying to put the bat on the ball and bring home the all-important 6th Tampa Bay run of the game.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Just off the plate outside, ball 4. It was outside.
Yeah, the umps in the stands wanted that call, and it was close, but it was not a strike. So Span, with a very good patient at bat, works his way onto first base. That'll bring it up to the man who has had a really good day swinging the bat.
Yeah, Joey Wendell, who homered back in the 5th, one of 2 runs in that 5th inning. Delaware native. No batting gloves for him out in the cold here. Sox would love a ground ball from him. Up and out, ball 1. Sox have used 4 relievers in this game. Infante for 2/3 of an inning, Bummer for 2/3 of an inning, Farquhar for an inning and a third, and now Luis Avilan. with 1 out so far in the 8th.
22 at bats, 4 strikeouts for Wendell. If he keeps swinging at that, it'll be 5. And the pen up and going. It's Joaquin Soria. It's a game of adjustment, Jason. I've always told you that.
It certainly is. One and one to Wendell. Throw to first, and here comes the runner home. Out! Smith got greedy, and the Sox made him pay.
Well, he wants to take another look at it because the tag was on the legs, and he thought that he had the hand on the plate. So Kevin Cash will also ask his guys to take a look at it.
I think they're telling him that Sox got him.
No, they're telling him to take another look at it. Watch it again. See if the hand is there, and from that angle you can't really tell, but it's going to be close. And there's the throw. That's why you can't lollipop a throw to first base. You got to make it as stiff as you can. Watch it again. The dive, the tag. Does the hand get in? Not yet, not yet. And now we'll have to see. I mean, it's got to be definitive proof because he was called out at the plate. We'll have to see if there is indeed definitive proof because this is a major call in this game.
It's either 2-run lead for Tampa or 2 out in the inning.
We'll watch it again. He has not tagged him yet. Not yet. Now he tags him, but the question is, did the hand get in? And, you know, it's bang, bang from any angle you take a look at it. Another angle.
Again, you've said this before, too. New York has different angles to look at than we do.
Yep.
You can't tell from there. It's very close. When does the tag come down is the question.
This is the best angle that we have on it. And if his hand was down, there's no doubt he's safe.
Tag there.
With his hand up, it looks like, I mean, I don't think there's definitive proof to overturn this call. We'll have to wait to see what they think in New York because this is a huge call.
So that's when the tag goes down. Question is, when does his hand hit the plate? And I don't know that it's there yet. But again, he doesn't need his full hand on the plate. He just needs to breach the plate at any moment. So it's up to what angles New York has. Because I agree with you. There's been no definitive proof that we've seen so far.
No. And, you know, we'll see. It's not going to take a long time, although this one will take longer than most of the replays because it's really not definitive. It's not cut and dry. And so we will have to see as they take a look at it and find out what they see in New York. We're going to get a resolution to this, and it's a big call.
Out at home. Beautifully done by Jose Abreu and Omar Narvaez.
Omar has 3 putouts at the plate. How often are you going to see that in the ball game? But we've seen it here this afternoon. And a good tag, a terrific play by Malik Smith. I mean, he's a burner, and he took a gamble on his speed. Jose Abreu with a good, solid throw. And for the 3rd time, Omar Narvaez applies the tag.
Malik Smith, 4 for 4 in the game. He's been thrown out twice at the plate. 1-1 on Wendell. Sox trying to get that 3rd out on the base paths after the 2nd one came.
And really, from Smith's perspective, look, you got a lefty-lefty matchup here, a lefty with a good curveball, and you figure I can outrun the baseball. Most of the time he can. This time he didn't.
On the ground and through. It's a base hit. So 2 on for the Rays and 2 out, and that's the moment where if you're in that first base dugout, you say, ah, geez. And everybody wearing Sox gear says thank you.
And if you're in the third base dugout, you might want to say, you got the right-hander in the pen. Let's see what Ricky wants. As Gomez comes up, and he's taken some healthy cuts today, as he usually does. He's got a couple of hits, and he scored a couple of runs. And here comes Don Cooper.
See whether this is for time-killing purposes for discussion purposes, Gomez for his career actually has been very close in terms of splits. His batting average is better against right-handers by 9 points. His slugging percentage better against lefties by 8 points. So I mean, it is a truly negligible difference, and we're talking about 1,300 plus games for Gomez.
Another huge out. The Sox escape with this one with just a 1-run deficit. It will be a job well done.
Sox in the bottom of the inning will bring up the bottom of the order. That means the top of the order is guaranteed at least one more crack at this thing if necessary.
He loves the first pitch, by the way.
He swings at it and pops it foul.
There are certain guys in this league you absolutely know that anything close on the first pitch, they're going to air it out. Steve Pearce comes to mind with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he stung our ball club on the first pitch.
Yes, he did.
Gomez historically loves the first pitch.
Two hits in the inning and a walk for Tampa Bay. No runs, though. On one strike. There's strike two.
One number jumps out at you. Last year, with runners in scoring position for a full season, Carlos Gomez hit 183. And we're just hoping that trend continues.
Last year at 0-2, he was a 105 hitter. And that continues as well. Strike three, Avilan wriggles out of the jam. Still a 1-run game. Throw from Abreu. 74-foot throw came in at 75 miles an hour, and there you have it.
Very effective.
Larry Garcia, who scored a run last time up, lobs this ball foul.
Romo has a very good changeup, and that's what he uses to neutralize the left-handers. And although there's a huge disparity between his lefty-righty splits, still at 230-something, he's not bad against the lefties because of that changeup. Plus, he's got a heavy sinker.
Off speed, 1-1. Sox scored in the first inning, then got two more in the fifth. Nicky Delmonico, a 2-run homer. And then the RBI double from Narvaez in the sixth. 1-1. Garcia ropes this ball into right field, and a good start here in the 8th for the Sox.
Fleury's had a good game. He's made a great throw. He's got his second hit. He was on and scored after an error, but he also stole a base. And he represents a tying run as Romo using 3 changeups in a row, the 3rd of which goes into the outfield.
So Tyler Saladino, the batter. And the question is, will Ricky Renteria ask him to bunt here?
Well, Ricky's pushed all the right buttons today, leaving Avalon in the ball game. He got out of the inning. Now we'll see what he has in store for Tyler Saladino.
That's ball 1.
That's what happens many times. In this case with Ramos, Sally squared around. Ramos got up. He obscured the visions of Sherwater, and that pitch was on the corner, and it was called a ball. So if catchers get up to try to charge after a bunt, they obscure the thing, and watch out at first base here.
The numbers do suggest, and this is taking the players out of it, the specific players involved in the scenario, but over the course of time, the numbers suggest that you are more likely to get a run with the runner at first and nobody out than a runner at second and 1 out, as Saladino jabs the bunt first base side, and there is the out. So Garcia to second base, Saladino with the sacrifice bunt, and it's up to Omar.
Sally gets it down. Good bunt. Crone did not want to let it roll, and sometimes a first baseman can read the spin on this ball. If he can read the spin, it usually will go foul if he can see that the spin is such as it is. This time the ball stays fair. By the way, in this ballpark, normally a ball on the dirt will stay fair most of the time. So as you watch it go down the line, Crone realizes that he can't let it go any further. He gets the job done.
So now you have Narvaez, the left-hander, Moncada to come after that, and Sergio Romo on the mound. Sox trailing, have not led in this game. Tampa Bay scored 1 in the first. Sox countered with 1 in the bottom of the first. Tampa scored 1 in the 4th. Each team got 2 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th, and it's up to Omar here to tie the game or more. And ball 1 from Romo. Yohan Moncada on deck, and he has had a whale of a day. 4 times on base. Well, on a day that started with the grounds crew having a snowball fight with the team, to have sunlight out in the 8th inning is quite the positive finish. See if the scoreboard can follow. Garcia at second, 2-0 to Omar. And Romo a wheel to second.
Span over toward the line in left field, where Omar has gone a couple of different times. And if you're going to face Romo at all, you certainly want to face him from the left side. And with Narvaez and Moncada. But it's Romo against the world, so they're his.
2-0. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. So a slider that misses runs it to 3-0. And this Tampa Bay bullpen, which has been beleaguered the past couple of days, some pressure laid on by the Sox here in the 8th. There's a strike, another slider. You can see in purple on our strike zone there. The sliders are in purple. Fastballs come in blue.
What's in puce?
We'll cover that later.
Okay.
3 balls and a strike. Omar takes ball 4. 2 on, 1 out for Yoan Moncada.
Good at bat for Omar, who very rarely swings at a pitch out of the zone. That time he showed patience. So the tying and potential winning run on base, Omar is going to be taken down. And Adam Engel, with his great speed, representing the go-ahead run, potential winning run on first base, waiting for Yoan to deliver his 3rd hit of the day. But all 4 times Yoan has been on base, and this is a favorable matchup. A righty on the mound who has had struggles against left-hand hitters.
Two on, 1 out. Moncada against Romo. Strike 1. 2 walks, a single, and a double for Yoan Moncada today. 22-year-old Cuban-born second baseman.
Now they're telling Smith in right field to move back, respecting the power of Moncada. That also, by the way, is going to give him a little bit more of an angle to get anything in right center field. If he's shallow, anything to right center field is going to the wall. So he's moved back at least 5 steps during the course of this at bat. And now he's still drifting back.
1-1. Avisail Garcia on deck. Perfect day on the line for Moncada. There's Avi. One, 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A slider downstairs. And 2 away for the Sox here in the 8th.
There's a slider. He took a little something off and it disappears. Yoan over the top of it. So big at bat for Avi. You want to get to Romo before Colomé comes in the game. Again, struggling this year, but normally a very, very dependable closer.
Two on, 2 out. Garcia 0 for 4. Twice he's grounded to the left side of the infield. And he takes ball number 1.
He paid no attention at all to the base runners. It cost him 90 feet times 2. That puts the tying run at third, the potential winning run in the person of Adam Engel at second base. And Adam's got great speed, and this is not a good throwing outfield.
All it takes is a wayward slider now.
Or a little bloop hit.
How about both?
That would be a nice duo.
Avi's got a hit in 6 of the 8 games this year. 0 for 4 this afternoon. Good slider again from Romo. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's one you're going to have to take to right field, because if you try to pull that, it's a ground ball to the left side. And Avi now in a big hole.
One and 2. Another slider. This one strike 3. Sox strand 2. That's 10 for the game. 5-4 to the 9th we go. over from center. Wellington Castillo is the catcher.
Outfield straight away, not overly deep. Now the outfielders, especially in left and right, have to deal with the sun. Something we didn't think we'd say as Joakim Soria comes into ball game. On for the fourth time. The ERA a little bit higher than he would like. Successful in 2 of 3 saves.
Down in front.
Good news if you're keeping score. You do not have to cross out your right fielder if you only use last names. Sox have traded Garcia for Garcia.
And where is Willie when we need him?
No longer with the club.
Well, just want to know where he was.
We'll check on that. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Crone. Avilan, 1 inning, 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout, no runs, thanks in part to the defense. Two balls, 2 strikes on Crone. 5 for 31 only on the year, just his 2nd walk of the season earlier in this game. And that is sky high, left of home, foul territory. Yolmer for out number 1.
That's a big out because Crone has big power. No hits today. However, he is always a threat. Here's a man who's had a pretty good day.
Yeah, Matt Duffy, 2 runs driven in, strikeout and a flyout. 35 degrees at game time this afternoon. And Duffy takes a breaking ball up and in.
He tried to lean into that, and wisely so. I mean, he's patted up the lead elbow, and it looked like he was trying to get that one to carry him off his elbow to get aboard. Well thought out play on a slow rolling breaking ball in.
That was not necessarily thought out. It was just get out of the way with the fastball near your chin.
Well, that time you're not going to take it for the club because a broken chin is not going to help your year any.
You're saying there are varying degrees of loyalty?
There are pitches you can get in front of, and there's others that you have to get out of there.
2 balls and no strikes. And that one poured in for a strike. 2-1 on Duffy.
You saw Wellington with no sign whatsoever. All he did was give him the throw it down the middle sign and let this guy hit it and see what happens.
It's an easy game, Steve.
Yes.
Just throw it right there.
Really easy. That's why so many people do it for a living.
3 balls and a strike on Duffy.
There is Alex Colomé, who last year saved 47 games. Year before, 37 games. This is a quality reliever who is not throwing it the way he can, but he will because he has.
Back-to-back blown saves for Colomé. That's why you want to make it so it's a 1-run game when he comes out of that bullpen with Abreu leading off.
And despite the fact that he tips his cap toward the first base side, you can still run on him. And a lot of pitchers do that to make the base runner think that they're looking at him when they're really not.
Soria 3-2. Ran inside. Duffy fouled it away.
And the fact that Fernando Rodney also had the same hat style, and he pitched for this club also.
A more successful archer, though.
Yes.
Although Chris did start the game.
He did, and he was fairly successful today, except Sox got to him a bit. Ramos has had a good day blocking pitches.
Three and 2. Another foul ball from Duffy. Mentioned that he used to get the mail of the other Matt Duffy, Matthew Edward Duffy, who is not currently in the major leagues after a couple of brief stints with the Astros. They always rooted for each other, they said.
Why not?
The Matt Duffy fraternity.
Absolutely. But, you know, you get too much of the other guy's mail, there could be a problem.
It's true. 3-2, quick pitch. Another foul ball.
It's one of the things that Soria does quite a bit, is try to disrupt the timing of the hitter by quick pitching or slow walking it or throwing that big slow curveball, trying to drop it over for a strike.
Three-two. Swing and a miss, strike three. A bullet past Duffy for out number 2.
Just good old country hardball. Here it is. Let's see if you can hit it. Nothing fancy. Just Wellington says, give it to me. On the outside corner, perfect pitch by Duffy, and 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Heart of the order due up in the Sox half of the 9th. Jason told you how important it was to hold him right here. And with the Thunder coming up, not a bad idea. Good game plan. And Ramos coming off a rare infield hit.
Swing and a miss at 70 miles an hour. They used to call him the Buffalo in his Washington days. And
I can't understand why. Is he from upstate New York?
he is not.
Oh,
He's, I wonder how Buffalo handle cold weather.
pretty well. Tatanka.
Seems like it. 2 for 4. There's a strike. 0-2.
Joaquim has thrown it very well today. He's got a little life on his fastball. He's had some rest. And you can hear the fastball crackling in the glove of Castillo.
0-2. Fought off. Castillo into the 2 spot in the order for Avi Garcia, so that's where the switch leaves the Sox. It's Abreu, Delmonico, and Sanchez scheduled up, with Davidson still on the bench as a possible pinch hitter. You wouldn't imagine against a right-hander you'd see Davidson, but who knows? 0-2. Up and in.
I think if there's a possibility, if there's just a chance, you want to let Matt Davidson swing the bat because of his power. He changes everything with one swing of the bat. But when looking ahead, at least for the moment, it doesn't line up that way.
One, 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Soria wipes away back-to-back Rays. And we will go to the home 9th. Abreu, Delmonico, Sanchez.
Time. You see the numbers, they speak for themselves. On base average 571. Most devastating stat for a closer, 2 walks in 2 1/3 innings and a whip of 429. So the Sox trying to, at the very least, tie this one and move to extra innings. Their very best, win it outright here in the bottom of the 9th with yet another comeback win. The Rays trying to break an 8-game losing streak. The Sox trying to break a 3-game losing streak.
Well, Colome so far this year has been cutter city. 80% of his pitches have been cutters.
A lot of them have been cut right into the outfield.
They have. See what Jose can do to lead it off. Abreu 0 for 3. He got hit in the first, struck out twice, and a pop-up to first base. Colome upstairs, ball 1.
2 years ago, when he saved the 37, his control was spotless. 71 strikeouts, 15 walks. Last year, not so much. 58 strikeouts, 23 walks, and this year the control has not been great.
One and one on Abreu. Jose with a couple of home runs already, including the game winner in Toronto in the series finale up in Ontario. One. Up and out. 2 balls and a strike on Abreu. So Sergio Romo, an inning and a third. 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts.
Romo threw it well to put them in this position to turn it over to their closer.
Called a strike. 2-2. My goodness, it was close.
I think it was a strike. I just think because of the way it was received by Ramos that you're not going to get the benefit of the call. We talked about the high strike. This one hitting off the end of the glove. And it was close enough, certainly, where Jose thought it was a ball. But you see number 4, it catches a high corner. Lots of high pitches called this year, folks.
2-2. Colome to Abreu. That's up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So 3 cutters in the sequence as Delmonico, who homered in the 5th, waits for his turn. Three balls, 2 strikes. Abreu gets on top of it to foul it away.
We can tell what his comfort pitch is because at 3-2 in the most important batter of the inning, the first, protecting a 1-run lead, he went to the slider. That's the pitch he loves. That's the pitch he threw. And he got it in his zone, and Jose fouled off a very tough pitch.
Three and 2. In the dirt, ball 4.
And that, folks, is how you blow saves. Walking the leadoff man with a 1-run lead.
And here's the guy who hammered a ball in the 5th.
Line drive rocket out of the ballpark. Nicky goes down and gets it. 103 miles an hour exit velocity. And just smashed out of the ballpark on a tough day to hit. But if you're going to hit one out down the line in right field, it's the best way to do it.
Abreu at first, nobody out. Sox need 1 to tie, 2 to win. Nicky up the middle, that's a base hit. Abreu stops at second. Sanchez coming up.
Good day for Delmonico as he takes it right back up the middle. And now the tying and winning runs aboard with nobody out, and the struggles of Colome continue. First pitch swinging. Right back at him. 2 on, nobody out.
Sox have shirts that they're wearing in the clubhouse this year that have the number 27 on them, signaling how many outs they're going to give this year and how much effort you'll see in terms of outs. And here's a 9th inning rally for you. 2 on, nobody out for Yolmer Sanchez. Infielders creep in, and he swings away. 0-1.
Crone was the most surprised man in the ballpark, as he was very close to Yolmer when he swung. So Duffy in at third. Crone still believes that Yolmer's going to lay it down, and that's where he's set up. And a ground ball by him to his left ends the ball game. Love to see a slider here, because Yolmer can pull that. Now Crone moving back.
There it was for a strike. 0-2.
Didn't want it high and away, however, but that's the hand he was dealt.
Yolmer Sanchez either ready for a ski afternoon or a game winner. Hope it's the latter. 0-2. In the dirt, gets away. That will take second and third. Nobody out in the 9th.
Big pitch. Ramos has smothered a few of them here today, but not that time. That one was a 56-footer, and he had no chance. He was absolutely eaten up with that. So Colomé buries his slider, and it caroms off the body of Ramos.
Colomé, 4 wild pitches in 65 games, 66 innings last year. He's got 2 already in the first 2 weeks of this season. 1-2. Tapped in front of the plate, and no advancement. That's out number 1. So it essentially is a bunt for Yolmer Sanchez. Abreu at third, Delmonico at second, and Tim Anderson.
Jose knows enough to be coming down with the throw. He's not going to take a big lead and then be stationary. So now they're shifting around in the infield. They're looking over at Kevin Cash to figure out what they want to do. And they've got 3 men on the left side of the infield for Tim. The only guy on the right side is Crone, who is in as close as he can be, taking away the bunt.
How tantalizing is that right side right now for Tim Anderson? On the ground, third base side. Abreu gets back, and there's out number 2. That's not what the Sox needed. Second and third, 2 out, and it's up to Larry Garcia.
Larry's had a pretty good day, and the question for Kevin Cash, because his run is absolutely useless, do you trust Colomé if you put him on first base? So we talked about the left side and 3 guys with a vacated right side, but 3 guys on the left, figuring that Tim is going to pull it. Pull it he does. Jose gets back. Wise play by Duffy, because he forces him back. And now, perhaps what Kevin Cash is going to talk about, or in this case, Snyder's going to talk about, is, look, do you want to walk him?
It's Davidson if you walk him, most likely.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's a righty-righty matchup being the key. It's going to be a righty-righty matchup pretty much any way you're thinking about it. And so we'll see. We'll see what they want to do. They got a veteran pitcher on the mound, but a pitcher with a propensity to bury sliders. That's why runners are at second and third, but now with 2 out.
Meeting over.
And for me, I put them on, but again, they know their staff and they know Colomé a lot better than we do. But I like a righty-righty matchup better than I like the matchup with Lurie, because he's swinging it real well today. Been on base 3 times, stolen a base, and a couple of singles with 2 stolen bases.
You wouldn't imagine he'd get much to hit here.
You want to be careful pitching around a guy. That's really tough. Sometimes you pitch around a guy, it goes to the screen.
Yeah, ball 1. Saladino's next, but Davidson's available. 5-4 Tampa Bay. 2 on, 2 out. right side, Crone. And the Rays win. Sox strand 12 in the game. And Alex Colomé rights the ship at the right time for Tampa Bay. 5-4 your final score.